This is a special presentation from News Channel Nebraska.
Pregame show presented by Norfolk Auto Center, Northeast Nebraska's volume leader, where you'll find one low price, plain and simple always. Live from Bloomfield Bees Field at the Knox County Fairgrounds alongside Lou Siefker, I'm Eric McKay, and it is oppressively cold tonight as we get set for Class D2 action between the 2 seed in the East, the Bloomfield Bees, and the 7-seeded Wildcats of Hartington Newcastle. The wind chill right now as we start the game is 11 degrees, wind gusting at about 20 miles per hour, and it has begun to snow. Other than that, it's gorgeous. And Bloomfield and Hartington Newcastle will be providing the warmth in terms of their offense. Bloomfield, the team routinely in the 50s on offense. And last week, Hartington Newcastle getting to 75 points, their season high in a first-round win over Meade. So, Lou, tonight, they'll be providing the heat on the field. This could, despite the conditions, still be a fairly high-scoring game.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. I don't want to be playing in this game tonight because it's too cold to stand out here on the sideline. But I think for Hartington Newcastle, they have to find a way to slow down Bloomfield's running game. They were able to turn them over last time 4 times, which kept them in the game. That's going to be important tonight. I think Bloomfield's running game is so powerful, you can't let them get into a rhythm because they'll run you right off the field.
Both of these teams took their time getting to the field, as you might understand, but still had a chance to talk to Lou Siefker. You'll hear from both head coaches next. You're watching the pregame show on NCN.
Today on Health Beat, we're very happy to have with us Dr. Zachary Gangwer, a podiatrist specializing in foot and ankle surgery with Faith Regional Physician Services Orthopedics in Norfolk. And we're talking about trauma to the foot and ankle region. So if you would, guide us through the process of treating a traumatic injury and the technology that's available today.
Absolutely. In most cases, we can treat various types of trauma, both in the foot and ankle, with more conservative measures, whether it be boots, you see the big black boots people walk around in, the old traditional casts, crutches. You're probably seeing some of the new technology, the knee scooters, where people are kind of cruising around and driving themselves around town, which are wonderful. And then if these conservative measures aren't appropriate, or if it's just not healing the injury appropriately, then we have more invasive things that we can do if we have to. Here's just a picture of, you may have heard of a Liz Frank injury. It's most thought of as a football-associated injury, but it's a fracture dislocation that happens to the foot, and this is just an example of some plates and screws that can be used to realign the bones of the foot. And whether we're talking surgical treatment or conservative measures, the end goal obviously is to get the person back functioning as quickly as possible and with as little long-term morbidity as we can get.
Fantastic, fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and that's Health Beat, brought to you today by Faith Regional Physician Services.
All right, I'm joined now by Bloomfield head coach Matt Kuhar. Coach, get into the second round of the playoffs. You guys have been so successful in the last 4 years, 38-4 coming into this ball game. What's allowed your program to be so dominant, so successful?
I think the buy-in from the kids, and we've got a very strong weight room program, and we just try to be more physical than the other teams, and it's it's done in the off season. A lot of it is.
Well, offensively this year, Coach, Braden Eisenhower has been your leader at quarterback. He's had a great year. 21 touchdowns on the ground, a capable passer with 7 touchdowns through the year, only 1 interception. Talk about what's made Braden so good this season.
He's a gamer. He does what we need him to go and do. First couple games of the year, he was kind of dinged up, and Logan Johnson carried for him. And but he's come back healthy, and he's got a fire, and he wants to win.
And defensively, Gabe Lauk has been your leader, 84 tackles on the season, 12 solo tackles last week against Pender. What's made him so effective on your defensive side of the ball?
He's a gifted athlete. He's got some long arms, so you think you're out of it, and he just snags you in.
You got Hartington Newcastle tonight, a team you played only a couple weeks ago. You look at the score, only a 10-point game, but statistically, you guys out-yarded them rather significantly. Those 4 turnovers haunted you. What do you talk to the kids about? Do you make them aware of ball security without making them overthink ball security?
Well, we go and we push for that every week to go and make sure ball security is job security for us. And the plays that got us on a couple of pass plays, we were out of coverage, and then when it came to the 2 long touchdown runs that they had, we just didn't cover who we were supposed to go and cover on that play.
Well, obviously turnovers were a factor last game. What do you think you guys need to do tonight to get the victory and advance here in the playoffs? We tell them every week we got to make sure that we're taking care of the ball and getting more turnovers than them. And we got to go and do what we do. We've got to be physical up front and create holes and I don't care whoever we go and have in the backfield, that's who we have, and we can create those. Well, Coach, we really appreciate your time. Best of luck here tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's head coach Matt Kuhar. Stick around. More pregame shows coming up next. You're watching high school football on News Channel Nebraska.
My children have been involved in the local sports, and I find it's a great value for my advertising dollar. I just think it's an awesome opportunity. I mean, the kids love being on TV. I love when you go to games and there's people there, and I just find that it's a great value that NCN can bring this all home to us, that I can be a part of it as an advertiser, and that it's great that our community bands together for these sports. I love being able to be showcased on TV that I'm supporting the local teams, and it's awesome that NCN can show the whole state what our local teams are doing, and I feel that's just an excellent benefit. I love that my advertising dollars reach even farther than Norfolk, Battle Creek, that that my advertising can reach almost the whole state. You can't do that with a billboard or the local newspaper. You can't reach that far, so that's really exciting.
Playing really well. Last week, 75 points, 500 yards against Meade. You feel like your team's playing the best football you played all year right now?
I thought last week was as well as we had played. Yeah, we took care of the ball, forced turnovers, recovered an onside kick. Kids just played well, tackled. We had to go back to the basics after Bloomfield ran all over us. Their run game's really good, so we had to go back and tackle. So I thought we did that really well, and that was probably the biggest area we improved on.
Well, quarterback is Shea Morton, and he's had a nice year so far. A real dual-threat quarterback. Does that give you an advantage, do you think, in a lot of 8-man games to have such a diverse offense where you can run and pass?
Well, I think so, and anytime your quarterback can run, it just gives you numbers advantages. 8-man's hard to play defense anyway, so if you have a quarterback that can run and throw the ball, it just makes everything harder to defend. We don't like playing teams that can do that. We're going to play a kid tonight, Braden, that can run, throw, he can do it all, and we don't like defending him any more than they probably like defending Shea. So, yeah, we definitely like having a kid like him. We like a senior that's played 3 years at quarterback. That's always helpful, too.
Well, defensively, you guys have played well. The last couple of games, you forced 10 turnovers, including 4 against Bloomfield a couple weeks ago. Is that something you've emphasized for your team, is to get those turnovers?
Well, when you play a team like Bloomfield that pounds it so much, you're going to have to create some turnovers because it's tough stopping them. Four downs and 10 yards is really difficult against them. So I don't know how much we emphasize it. It's something we've really focused on all year. Limit our turnovers, create some, and I think we've only turned it over like 7 times for the year, and we've forced probably 3 times that many. So the kids do well with it, and hopefully we can continue that trend tonight.
Certainly helps to get those turnovers and to keep the football. Now, you last time you played Bloomfield, only a 10-point game. It was the closest game that Bloomfield has played all year. What's it going to take tonight to flip that script and get the win?
Well, we're going to have to get some stops. We didn't make them punt last time. We were fortunate to turn them over a few times. Otherwise, they may have scored more. And then we've got to take advantage of opportunities when we get the ball. We can't turn over on downs and punt as often as we did the last time. So it's going to be ball control. It's going to be weather. Just taking control of the game early would be nice because maybe we can make them do something they don't like to do, and that's throw as much as they run. So.
Well, Coach Oldrick, we really appreciate your time. Best of luck tonight.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
That's head coach Corey Oldrick. Folks, don't go anywhere. It's a D2 playoffs. Hartington Newcastle takes on Bloomfield right after this on NCN.
Whether you're building a new home or remodeling the one you live in, Carhartt Lumber is the area's premier one-stop shop for quality building and remodeling materials. See the large selection of paint and primer and Milwaukee power tools. Spruce up your outdoor living area with composite decking, stone windows, and siding. Carhartt Lumber is your place to go for buyer-built interior and exterior doors. With 10 locations across Nebraska, Carhartt Lumber is here for all of your building and remodeling needs. Carhartt Lumber has been giving you the power to build since 1921.
There's no denying social media has influenced the mental health of kids. The challenges as a teacher, it's changed a lot because of that.
Good morning, people. When I first started teaching, come in, students, open your books, let's learn. And the student was more engaged and they were more focused. Now they want to be entertained, which is fun, but it chips away at, I think, that content learning because you're competing against the phone.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups for tonight's contest between Bloomfield and Hartington Newcastle. Alongside Lou Seethker, I'm Eric McKay. The Bloomfield Bees, fresh off their third straight unbeaten regular season, Braden Eisenhower at quarterback. He had 336 yards on the ground the last time these two teams played. He's at 1,357 rushing yards for the season and 21 touchdowns. They can throw. He's completed almost 62% of his passes. His favorite target has been Dade Davis with 19 receptions, 341 yards. Cody Brugman will be a big piece of their backfield as well. Meanwhile, defensively for Hartington Newcastle, keep an eye on Jake Pites. Bloomfield certainly will be. He's all over the field. 15 tackles for loss, 7 sacks this season for Coach Corey Aldrich. Let's take a look at the flip side. Corey Aldrich's Hartington Newcastle team is on offense. Shea Morton at quarterback. He needs just 60 yards to join some rarefied air, the 1,000 club, 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards passing. Folks, our starting lineups tonight presented by Bank of Hartington. Where other banks have their branches, they have their roots. Member FDIC. And our pregame sponsor, Carhartt Lumber, family owned, has been giving you the power to build since 1921, proud of their local teams. Opening kickoff next on NCN.
Fall is here, school has started, and harvest is upon us. Stop at Senex Shop Easy for all your needs on the way to or from games, activities, or fieldwork. Or grab a pizza for on your way home. We have lots of food choices and beverages. At Shop Easy, we are always here and ready to serve. We are open 24/7 with plenty of parking and seating area if you need a break. Shop Easy wishes good luck to all the area teams. And as always, remember good sportsmanship. Shop Easy is owned and operated by the Santee Sioux Nation.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
My name is Ben Martin, and I am a physician with Faith Regional Physician Services, and I currently practice in Wayne and in Wakefield. For many patients, I have been present since their birth, and this allows me to follow them over a period of time and to help them form healthcare decisions for the future. I've been practicing in Wayne for over 30 years, and I enjoy the special relationships I have with patients. I also enjoy mentoring younger physicians who will carry forward the work that I have done. I had cancer 23 years ago. I went through the treatment, the chemo, the radiation, and all that sort of different thing. And so I have a unique perspective on what the patient is going through. So I know what it feels like, I know what it costs, I know the discomfort, I know the angst of waiting for results. Coming from a family of providers, it has been my joy to provide health care for the city of Wayne.
It is time now to enjoy the game thanks to United Healthcare. Alongside Lou Siefker, Eric McKay, Will Ryan in the truck, Lou and I will be enjoying the game because we are inside. It is right now 9 degrees with a wind chill and a light snow in Bloomfield as we get set for Hartington Newcastle and Bloomfield, a matchup between the 2 and 7. The winner of this, it looks like, will be facing Falls City Sacred Heart in the quarterfinals. They are pulling away from Clarkson Lee. I know some of you want to welcome you who were watching that game earlier today. In fact, as they head to the fourth, Falls City Sacred Heart with a 48-6 lead. So the Irish will be back in the quarterfinals. They will be traveling to Northeast Nebraska regardless, Lou, whether it is Bloomfield or Hartington Newcastle. They will be hosting the Irish next week. So whoever wins tonight gets at least one more home game in the postseason.
Well, it'd certainly be interesting. Now, I know that Hartington Newcastle wants to be the team that they're playing, but it would be interesting if it's Bloomfield because Falls City Sacred Heart knocked Bloomfield out of the playoffs in 2016 and 2017. Yep. So that would be an interesting matchup in the next round. Obviously, the Wildcats have different plans for next week, but
looking at some other Class D2 scores, an interesting one down south, the 4-5 matchup in the East bracket, and it is Plainview. As they head to the fourth quarter, they were up 22-0 on the defending champ Johnson Brock. It's 28-22 Plainview as they head to the fourth quarter. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Meanwhile, here it will be Hartington Newcastle starting on offense in their road white uniforms. Bloomfield in their home blues. Glad you could join us here on News Channel Nebraska and online at newschannelnebraska.com. Our first quarter is presented by Region 4 Behavioral Health System. Expecting an interesting matchup. You know, you look at the scoreboard the last time these two played, 46-36 Bloomfield got the win, but boy, statistically they dominated the game. They ran almost twice as many plays. They had 31 first downs, and you heard Corey Oldrick mention, did not make Bloomfield punt, but for the turnovers, it may have been a lot worse. I think Bloomfield no doubt has to feel good about how that shapes up tonight. And we are underway for Hartington Newcastle. Zach Burcham, this senior, out of bounds on the far side, and it will be the Wildcats on offense. Mentioned it before the break, their quarterback, Shea Morton, the senior, a 3-year starter at quarterback, and is just 60 yards away from becoming a 1,000 player, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards passing. And he would be one of just 3 players in 8-man football to do that this year. As you see, Region 4 Behavioral Health System is our first quarter sponsor. Kobe Heitman in motion. They fake to him. Morton gets very little. He's hit hard at the 20-yard line. Line of scrimmage was the 21, so that's a loss for Shea Morton. It will be second down and 11.
Yeah, Shea Morton is kind of the ultimate dual-threat quarterback when you're talking 1,000. That's very impressive, and I don't care what level you're playing at. Now tonight, for the Wildcats, you really got to believe that keeping the football is going to be important. Put together some long drives, some time-consuming drives, limit the number of possessions that Bloomfield has, and I think for the Wildcats offensively, you have to maximize the possessions that you have.
In the gun is Morton. To his left, Carson Sudbeck, the sophomore. Morton to the air, pressured, has to throw it before he wanted to. Nice adjustment, but not hauled in. One-on-one coverage on the edge, trying to get it to Heitman. It was Braden Eisenhower providing the coverage. It's 3rd and 11.
That was good pressure that time on the left side of that defensive line. It was Tyson Saucer that came in unblocked and forced a quick throw. That's I think, going against the Wildcats offensively. Tonight they're going to try to put a lot of pressure on them. And certainly you're going to want to make Morton make quick passes, quick decisions. And also with the weather the way it is, if you're not doing anything dirty, but lay a few licks on guys, as it hurts a little bit worse tonight than it does on other nights.
3 split wide on 3rd and 11. Heitman in motion. They'll fake to him. Morton will keep and has some room to the outside. Eisenhower with a great tackle in the open field. If Eisenhower doesn't make that play, Morton probably moves the sticks. As it is, it'll be 4th down and 6.
Well, that's what you got to love about 8-man football. We've talked about how good of a quarterback Eisenhower is.
Well, he tackles the other team's quarterback, Shea Morton. He does a great job around the ankles, prevents that first down, and forces the Wildcats to punt.
Our replay is presented by Authier Miller Pape Eye Care Consultants. This is Sam Harms on to punt it away. Good pressure, not a good punt at all. It's going backwards. It does take a Hartington Newcastle roll. That's a negative 1 yard punt. No return, and Bloomfield will have it 1st and 10 at the Hartington Newcastle 24-yard line. And Lou, again, we saw pressure on the interior.
Yeah, absolutely. Good pressure coming on that punt, but also elements played a factor in that one. I'm pretty sure you got a really stiff wind blowing there, and that ball just did not go anywhere. So great field possession for Bloomfield in their first possession, and that's not what you want to do if you're Hartington Newcastle, is give a very potent offense a short field.
Braden Eisenhower at quarterback. You mentioned the wind blowing at 16 miles an hour out of the north right now. Eisenhower out of the gun to his right, Cody Brugman, the sophomore. Eisenhower a little trouble handling the ball, has a hole to the right. And a solid gain on first down. 3, maybe 4, it'll be second down.
We're going to talk about a game a week or 2 weeks ago when these two teams played. And you had Eisenhower had 336 yards rushing. He was unstoppable in that ball game. And Bloomfield really, year in and year out, it's not just good skill people. They always are good up front. They have a really good offensive line. But boy, Eisenhower, that was the reason, one of the reasons anyway, that the Wildcats did not make the Bees punt the football, was how effective Eisenhower was.
That's a season high in rushing this season. Here Eisenhower keeps on the option, has a huge hole. First down, touchdown. Bloomfield on the board, first 20 yards. Braden Eisenhower, his 22nd rushing touchdown this season.
Well, just a good decision there by Eisenhower. Kept the football on that play and just took it around that right side. Boy, Bloomfield they know what to do with the football especially when they get the short field. There you're going to see the replay. Good decision to keep the football that time by Eisenhower, and he scores easily.
And the Bees take advantage of the good field position. Now Eisenhower out to go for 2. Cody Brugman to his right. Eisenhower going to the air, back of the end zone, wide open is Ian Kuhar, the freshman. And Bloomfield extends their lead on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard. It's 8-0 Bloomfield on it's 6-0 Bloomfield. They say foot on the line. So a 6-point lead for the Bees on NCN.
Oh, they're here.
What are they doing?
I bought a tree for you.
It's gorgeous.
Where do you want it?
I know the perfect spot.
Trees add so many things to your yard, from fond memories, shade, beauty, and value to your property. The pros at Midwest Tree in Hartington have several varieties to choose from, and fall is a great time to plant. Contact Midwest Tree in Hartington and make a beautiful visual memory today.
Let's take another look at that 2-point conversion. You can see it. Oh, yeah, he didn't complete the process of the catch, Lou. So Ian Kuhar does not get the 2 points. 6-0 Bloomfield with the lead, but a 2-play, 24-yard drive. Coach Matt Kuhar will take that every time.
Yeah, absolutely. You get that short field. That's like a turnover. That's like recovering a fumble. That was a negative 1-yard punt. And then when you get those opportunities, if you're Bloomfield, or really either team, but Bloomfield is so adept at that, you get those opportunities, you get your team on the board and really put the pressure now on the Wildcats. Offensively, the Wildcats have to find something. Certainly you can't give Bloomfield the short field, but as we talked about a moment ago, I think it's going to be key tonight for them to have the ball control, the time of possession advantage against Bloomfield.
It has gone final. Fall City Sacred Heart defeats Clarkson Lee 56-6. So the Irish will now be watching the rest of this game to see who they're playing in the quarterfinals next week. Here's Morton, dropped it. Able to fall back on it, but will lose a yard again. It'll be second down.
Well, that could have been disaster. Fortunate to recover that fumble.
Tackles made by number 33.
But a negative play on first down, that's just not going to cut it tonight for the Wildcats. They've got to find ways to move the football.
So second down and 11 after the loss of a yard. That game between Fall City Sacred Heart and the winner of this one is a game next Tuesday you'll be able to see right here on News Channel Nebraska. So you get a little preview if you watch the doubleheader today of the two teams you'll see next week. Morton out of the gun. In motion, Heitman. They'll fake to him, Morton. Able to make Eisenhower miss, but tripped up just enough to prevent extra yardage. They'll mark him down at the 20. It's 3rd down and 5. Correction, the 19, 3rd and 6 upcoming.
The Wildcats now with 3rd and medium to long. You got to come up with a play here. We just saw the last time they punted. It was obviously not a very good punt, and again, I think you've got to keep the football away from this Bloomfield offense. You can't go 3 and out.
3rd down, call it 6. Motion again for the Wildcats. This time they'll go with the sweep, and Bloomfield all over it. Nothing doing for Kobe Heitman. The team's second leading rusher, 615 yards on the season coming into tonight, but no gain there, and it's 4th down.
Dave Davis gets the tackle. You see Gabe Lauk, we talked about him, how good he's been. Also made contact there and allowed Davis to finish the play.
So now Hartington Newcastle will have to punt it again. Sam Harms, -1 yards on his last punt. No one back deep for Bloomfield. This time Harms a much better punt. It will take a Hartington Newcastle roll. The Bees will be starting in their own territory at the 34-yard line. 25-yard punt, no return. Bloomfield with an opportunity to go up 2 scores here, still not even 5 minutes into the game.
You know, before the game, I was watching these kids. They're warming up, and I'm talking to the coaches about the weather, and the kids are like, oh, we love this weather. And I'm thinking, oh, the folly of youth.
Yeah.
Or either that or I'm just a crotchety old man, one of the two. But it's cold out there. But you have to have that in your mindset. You got to put that cold away and concentrate on the football game.
Yeah, youth is wasted on the young. 1st and 10, Bloomfield from the 34. Eisenhower keeps it himself, has a hole, slips between defenders, dragging a defender with him out of bounds into Hartington Newcastle territory across the 30. It'll be 1st and 10, Bloomfield. Folks, tonight's game presented in part by Blooms and Bling. Downtown Bloomfield, their Christmas open house is this Saturday, November 9th from 9 to 3. Ball marked at the 28-yard line. That's a 21-yard gain for Eisenhower, who already has 45 yards on 3 carries tonight.
Eisenhower got a good block on the edge there from Ian Kuhar that really sprung that play.
So now it's 1st and 10 in Hartington Newcastle territory again from the 28-yard line. Eisenhower, the pitch, bobbled on the turf, and Bloomfield able to come up with it. Big break for the Bees there, as the Johnny on the spot was Cody Brugman, that was Tyson Sauser, the junior, trailing the play, goes for a loss of 4.
A heck of a play there by Sauser, got on that football. Right there waiting for it was Kobe Heitman. Looked like he was going to get that fumble recovery somehow. Sauser got to it and kept his team with possession.
But back to the 32-yard line now, 2nd and 14. Eisenhower cuts up field right into the waiting arms of the Hartington Newcastle defense. They're waiting for him. A couple of players, Matthew Metzenheimer, the 230-pound senior, with his 8th tackle for a loss this season, and it's 3rd and long Bloomfield.
Well, that's a big play because Bloomfield, as good of a running team as they are, and they can pass the football as well, but this is a team that really, their offense is dictated by how well they do in the running game and certainly on 1st and 2nd down. Now you've got them in 3rd and long. This is where, if you're Hartington Newcastle, you want to keep them in that long yardage situation, try to force a punt here.
3rd and 16. Out of the gun, Eisenhower wants to go to the air. In trouble. Able to escape it. Now he's got some real estate. Throws late. It is incomplete. Good coverage deep downfield applied by Shea Morton on the pass intended for Dade Davis. And Hartington Newcastle's defense, perhaps here doing something they couldn't do last meeting and forcing Bloomfield to punt.
Yeah, not able to get them to punt at all last ball game. Really good play there. It looked like Davis was open, And I think that was a good decision there by Eisenhower. He kept the play alive with his feet and allowed Davis to run to an area and was open momentarily, but a good play. Now it looks like Bloomfield's going to punt the football away.
On 4th and 16, Eisenhower to punt. No one back deep for Hartington Newcastle. Eisenhower angling to the right sideline. This is a pretty good kick. It'll be out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it out. They'll say the 12-yard line is where Hartington Newcastle will start things 1st and 10. So the defense gets the stop. 24-yard punt, no return. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Freedom Hall. They fought for our country. They gave their life. Take a moment to remember them Monday on Veterans Day. This message from Freedom Hall of Bloomfield. Hartington Newcastle looking for their first down of the ball game. They start this drive from their 12. And it is Shea Morton once again out of the gun. 2 receivers to either side. Morton, the handoff. Hole up the middle. Oh, boy.
Ball was carried by number 23.
I think Carson Sudbeck would like that one back. If he keeps his feet, he might still be running. As it is, solid gain. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, good gain. That could have been a great gain. But you got to believe now, I think the Wildcats have a little bit of momentum. You finally forced Bloomfield to punt, and you not only did you make them punt, but you really turned away a great opportunity for Bloomfield to score again. Now we'll see what the Wildcats can do offensively.
On 2nd and 3, they go to Sudbeck again, and this time breaking tackles, bouncing outside, 1st down, stuck by Eisenhower, but across the 25 to the 26-yard line. That will be enough to move the sticks. The 2nd straight 7-yard carry for Carson Sudbeck.
Yeah, nice job there by the Wildcats. Pick up the 1st down. Now can you do this in succession? Can you get a few 1st downs, keep those chains moving, keep Bloomfield on the sidelines offensively? And what a tackle there by Braden Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Good solid tackle. I love 8-man football because, your best athletes they play both sides of the ball. But I love it when quarterbacks play safety or defensive back come up and lay a lick on somebody.
Eisenhower is the team's 2nd leading tackler. He split in coverage to the near side of your screen on Kobe Heitman. 1st and 10 for Hartington Newcastle from the 26. Morton will keep, able to slip a couple of tackles, driven out. Solid gain there, but for Coach Corey Aldrich, his offense getting gains on 1st down, which they were not on their first 2 possessions.
Yeah, that's important. You want to set yourself in good down and distance situations. Now, certainly the Wildcats, we've talked about that, a good passing football team, especially at the 8-man level. But the biggest problem right now is just weather conditions when you're trying to throw the football. That limits a little bit of what you would probably do if it were a little warmer out.
Boy, not a great spot. They gave him the line of scrimmage, and that's it. 2nd down and 10. Heitman in motion again. Well, he does a lot of pre-snap running. Now gets it on the sweep. Swarmed upon quickly. What you might expect from a B defense out to the 30-yard line, where it will be 3rd down and about 7 after the gain of 3.
Kind of right where Hartington Newcastle has been all quarter here. 3rd down and anywhere from 6 to 8 yards to go. And they have not been able to convert a 3rd down yet.
They'll have 3rd down and 7 from the 30. Morton getting the call from Coach Aldrich. Checking in. Again, the winner of this one will get Fall City Sacred Heart. Whoever the team that wins is, they will be hosting the game next week. 3rd down and 7. They fake to Heitman. Pass over the top too tall. Was trying to get it to Jake Pites, who had a step on Brugman in coverage. Pites, the team's leading receiver, can't get the hook up there. It'll be 4th down.
Well, Wildcats were able to get a 1st down, but only 1. Now looking at the 3rd punt of the quarter here for Hartington Newcastle.
Like to welcome in those that were watching the Clarkson-Lee Fall City Sacred Heart game. Irish victorious. Winner of this game will be who the Irish play. So far, Bloomfield's defense has been doing the job. This one might have been partially blocked. It is down at the 36-yard line, where Bloomfield will have it 1st and 10. So just a 14-yard punt. No return. And Bloomfield will try once again after Hartington Newcastle's defense got the stop the last time out.
Coach Guhar looks warm over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did get a piece of that. That was Eisenhower in there.
Yep.
I think he got a finger on that punt.
So 1st and 10 from the 36. Eisenhower will now run quarterback. He's been everywhere so far tonight. In the backfield with Brugman. Eisenhower, 4 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown. Hesitates, finds some room, bounces, crosses midfield. It'll be 2nd down. Solid gain there, brought down by Shea Morton. It'll be 2nd and about 3.
Bloomfield appears like they're a little stronger up front right now than Hartington Newcastle. I think the game plan for Bloomfield at this point is to avoid negative plays, get something on every down. I think Bloomfield feels like in any 4-down situation, they're going to be able to pick up 10 yards against most teams. And I think the way they moved the ball last time the two teams played, they feel pretty confident against Hartington Newcastle.
2nd and 4 in Hartington Newcastle at the 38. It's Eisenhower, the keeper. Breaks a tackle in the backfield and has a lot of room to the near side. Finding real estate across the 30 where he's brought down. 1st down, Eisenhower. But that play looked like it was going to be blown up in the backfield by Sudbeck. Eisenhower keeps it alive.
Yeah, it's a great job by Eisenhower just to keep that play alive. Break that tackle and broke out on that left side of the offensive line. We'll see the replay here. Just able to pull away and does a good job as once he gets out of there. He doesn't hesitate. He heads upfield. Good job by Heitman there to cut him off. Took a good angle and made the play.
1st and 10 now from the Hartington Newcastle 28-yard line. Bloomfield trying to beat Hartington Newcastle for the 6th straight time. Off the handoff, bouncing off defenders across the 25 is Tyson Sauser. Sauser, 272 rushing yards coming into tonight. Gets about 5 there. It'll be 2nd down.
A good 1st down carry there for Sauser and Bloomfield. That's the game plan right there. Continue those positive yards. You can get 5 yards on 1st down. They're able to do that tonight. It's going to be a long night for Hartington Newcastle if Bloomfield's able to do that consistently.
Their offensive line so big up front with Dalton Gieselman and Lauk and Daniel Brugman in there, opening up those holes. This time, great read option play by Eisenhower. Keeps it himself inside the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Bloomfield. Hartington Newcastle thought they had that one stopped. Eisenhower pulls out the ball at the last minute and has his 2nd touchdown of the night.
That's the 2nd time now. 2nd touchdown for Eisenhower. Both of those come on excellent reads. Just good decision. Keep the football, pull it out of the belly of the running back there, and you see a big hole right up the middle. Eisenhower knows what to do when he sees that hole, and he gets his 2nd touchdown here of the 1st quarter.
Again, Eisenhower had 336 rushing yards. Actually had a couple of passing touchdowns, accounted for 6 touchdowns the last time these two teams played. Now Bloomfield will try to get those 2 points back. They thought they had the 2-point conversion earlier, but it was dropped. Now Eisenhower makes his cut, reverses, and into the end zone. So on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, Bloomfield up 14-0. You're watching NCN.
1,300 high school touchdown balloons. 150,000 bags of popcorn filled. 525,000 napkins donated. At Midwest Bank, we feel it is the little things that we do for the communities that we serve that make the big difference. When it comes to banking, we can make a big difference for you too. Check us out online at MidwestBank.com. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
14-0 Bloomfield with the lead. Braden Eisenhower, the senior, has accounted for both of their touchdowns on the ground tonight, giving him 23 rushing touchdowns on the year. Alongside Lou Siefker, I'm Eric McKay. As Logan Dorr, the freshman, gets set to kick it away. Bloomfield, that offensive line has really set the tone, and when Hartington Newcastle has broken through, Lou Eisenhower has just made great read after great read in that option set.
Well, you can certainly tell he's a senior because he's a smart football player. He's been there, done that, makes really good decisions.
From the 4-yard line, here's Burcham. Not going to find anything to the center of the field, brought down at the 11-yard line. Bloomfield winning the field position battle by far thus far.
Really putting Hartington Newcastle in another bad situation. Only one first down in this first quarter so far for the Wildcats. And they're going to have to get a whole bunch more if they're going to stay in this ball game. It looks like Bloomfield is going to be very difficult to slow down when they have the football.
1st and 10 from the 11. Hartington Newcastle did get a couple of first downs their last drive out. This time Morton alone in the backfield. Gives around the edge. Good blocking. Tripped up first down yardage for Heitman, the junior. Lou Heitman, he probably ends up running maybe 400 or 500 yards by the end of the game. He is in motion pre-snap on every play.
With my diet, I need his workout regimen because I need to run a lot more than I do. But yeah, he puts in a lot of miles in there before he even gets the football.
They have not signaled first down officially yet. I think we're going to get a measurement. He was tripped up across the 20 to the 21. Needed to get the 21. He's short by about a half a football. So credit him with a 9-yard gain there on his 3rd carry. Chain gang probably appreciating the opportunity to move a little bit, get the blood flowing.
Yeah. They run out there and run back. And you know, I like the call there from Hartington Newcastle, Coach Corey Oldrick. I think they're going to have to go laterally a little bit and kind of spread this Bloomfield defense out.
Nobody really in the middle right now. Looks like Bloomfield might be bringing pressure from the edge. They do. Hartington Newcastle avoids it, first down. Nice job by Heitman to find the open spaces, gets to the 25. And the Wildcats move the sticks for the 3rd time tonight.
You got to figure if you're Hartington Newcastle, as we see the first down picked up here, you got to feel like a couple of things. We talked about one already, and that's just trying to keep the football, trying to put drives together. But the other is, I think if they're going to come back and win this game, they're going to have to do what they did in the last matchup, and that's turn Bloomfield over. 4 Bloomfield turnovers the first time they play. They're going to have to do that again here tonight.
They'll go with the edge again. Seeing some success with it out of bounds. Heitman, a solid gain on first down. They'll mark him out right at the 29-yard line. 2nd down and 6 upcoming.
Yeah, Heitman, he's getting the football, getting it out there on the perimeter. And again, for the Wildcats, I like that. I like going the sideline to sideline, spreading Bloomfield out. Get the ball to your playmakers in space and let them make plays.
You saw the frozen breaths of the players in the huddle. The wind chill down to 6 degrees right now and plummeting. 2nd and 6 from the 29. Heitman makes his cut and is close to first down yardage. That time Bloomfield sealed the edge a little quicker. Heitman still a solid gain. It'll be 3rd and about 3 upcoming.
Yeah, Bloomfield did a good job there not to allow Heitman to catch that edge, but Heitman did a really nice job just to turn it back inside, get what you can. Got a real positive gain. Now sets up 3rd and makeable.
Call it 3rd and 2.5 as we reach the end of the first quarter. We're on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard. It's Bloomfield 14, Hartington Newcastle nothing. 2nd quarter next on News Channel Nebraska.
D&L Towing and Recovery in Norfolk. There to help in any situation, including off-road service. They don't let anything get in their way or slow them down. Major accidents, stuck in the mud, or just in need of a tow. D&L Towing and Recovery will come to the rescue 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Local or long distance, you only need to remember 2 letters, D&L. Visit DNLTowingRecoveryNorfolk.com or give them a call anytime at 402-371-7995.
The morning doesn't always start when you want it to. It starts when it has to. And day or night, we're up when you are. Through the good times, through the tough times. For the necessary and the unexpected. Even when you don't need us at all, we're just a light switch away. And when it's finally time to call it a night, we keep the lights on, ready to do it all over again. Nebraska Public Power District. Powering your everyday, every day.
Let's take a look at our Smile Cam, brought to you by Family First Dental Dentistry for the whole family. It's in their name. Alongside Lou Siefker, I'm Eric McKay. Big third down here for Hartington Newcastle as we switch sides to start the second quarter. An option play. First time we've seen that tonight. Sudbeck diving for the sticks. I think he has it. They mark him just across the 35, which is what he needed. And that does appear to be enough for Hartington Newcastle to get the first down. Our second quarter presented by D&L Towing and Recovery. All Bloomfield to start. They've dominated field position, have only had to punt the ball once, and have a 14-point lead alongside Lou Siefker. I'm Eric McKay, but Lou, Hartington Newcastle, a couple of first downs here on this drive. They've got something cooking.
Yeah, good signs right now for the Wildcats. That's the first third down conversion of the ball game. They're 1 for 4 now, but certainly 3rd and 2. That's where they kind of want to be in those situations. You don't want to be backed up in 3rd and long.
From the motion, they give to Heitman. Boy, he does it great. Oh, ball came out. Ball's loose. Hartington Newcastle able to keep it. Mesenheimer able to jump on it. I was just about to say that Heitman does a great job making guys miss there, but the fumble forced. Hartington Newcastle lucky to keep it.
Might have picked up a yard or two there on that fumble.
It'll be second down, call it 6, just shy of midfield. Here at the Bloomfield Bees Field, Knox County Fairgrounds. You can see the stands of the old baseball field behind us. Great facility. One of the few places we have been to every year that we've done TV football here. We've been here quite a bit.
Always like coming back to Bloomfield.
Big thanks to Kirk Ham, the AD, and everybody for getting us set up. Now Morton on the keeper, going to try to get the edge. It's a race with Eisenhower, one of the surest tacklers on the field, not going to let him escape. It'll be third down.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's an understatement. Eisenhower is a sure tackler. He's fantastic. Tell you what, I'm picking my 8-man fantasy team. I might have him on that team because he's really good on both sides of the ball. Yeah, that was a really good tackle against an outstanding athlete in Morton.
Our replay is brought to you by Madison County Bank. No gain. Third down and 6. Ball at the 39-yard line. If you're just joining us, Hartington Newcastle had 3rd and more than 10 on each of their first 2 drives. They've been much more manageable since then. 3 receivers split wide. Morton to the air, over the middle, over the top, can't haul it in. Good coverage. That ball was put in a good spot for the intended receiver. It just can't finish, and it'll be 4th down on the pass, that time intended for Jake Pites.
Yeah, double coverage that time, so good coverage. And that was Brugman makes that breakup, so good job there. A couple defenders in on that play for Bloomfield, but Brugman with the man with the coverage does an excellent job to break it up.
Morton, almost 1,300 yards passing coming into tonight. Completes about 52% of his passes. Now on 4th down, I think kind of a decision time for Hartington Newcastle, and Pites is slow, kind of holding his lower back. He landed funny, I think, as he came down. There you see him working his way off the field. I think this will go down as an injury timeout. Well, Hartington Newcastle just burns a timeout. We'll take one as well. 14-point game on News Channel Nebraska.
Nebraska Towns, I think. Nebraska Towns, I think they've always just had a great yearning for their town and their history and their heritage and the successes they've had over the years. And just for that one moment, you know, they're looked upon as local hometown hero for, you know, maybe just for that one time, but it's something they'll never forget. And so we're happy to be a part of that as well. So, you know, highlighting the community and the people there. We get feedback from people who watch the games and see our name out there, and I know they appreciate it because they'll go back and watch games, or their relatives back home will be able to watch the game, and that's a great reason for us to be tied together with News Channel Nebraska.
4th down here for Hartington Newcastle. The offense on the field on 4th and 6. Morton going to go with a quick kick instead. Takes a pretty good roll inside the 20. This will be Bloomfield's worst starting field position of the night at the 18-yard line. So Hartington Newcastle flips the field, but now the defense has to do what really nobody's been able to do this year, and that's stop Bloomfield on offense.
Yeah, that's a tall task to stop this offense. It's a very good offense, and they know how to score points, and they know how to put people away. So really an important defensive time on the field here for Hartington Newcastle. You're going to have to try to come away with force Bloomfield to give you the football back either through with a turnover or with a punt. I think a 21-0 deficit is going to be tough to overcome if Bloomfield's able to get another touchdown.
From the 18 on first down, Eisenhower to the edge, tiptoes his way across the 20, down to the 23-yard line. It'll be second down as a Hartington Newcastle player slow to get up. That's Dylan Denninger, the 225-pound senior, holding his left arm. Like you said, Lou, when it's this cold, those hits hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, it stings when you get hit when it's this cold. Not only that, but the football's frozen, the ground is hard. It's uncomfortable to play football when it's in these conditions. So you got a couple teams here with some tough guys, but you'd much rather have it be about 70 and sunny than 6 degrees wind chill.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable to do anything in this weather. Second down and 5 after the Eisenhower scramble. This time he hands off, diving into the tackle across the 25 to the 26 is Tyson Sauser, that's Brugman, the sophomore, setting up a third down and about 2.
Only one third down opportunity before this one for Bloomfield, and that was 3rd and 16, certainly out of their wheelhouse. 3rd down and 2 is right where Bloomfield wants it.
From the 26-yard line, Hartington Newcastle, all 8 players in the box. We'll see if that makes a difference. Eisenhower will get just enough as he's upended at the 30-yard line. Got 3 when he needed 2 and moves the sticks for the Bees.
That was another good run by Eisenhower, even though only got 3 yards. It was just a patient run. Allow your blocks to set up, get behind the big fellas, and get that enough yardage for the first down. How good was Braden Eisenhower on the year running the football, coming into this game, averaging 8.9 yards a carry. My goodness.
That is incredible. One of the top rushers in the state of Nebraska in Class D2. Last week in the victory over Pender, didn't need him a whole lot. He had, in fact, actually passed for more yards than he rushed. Just the second time this year he had done that. Had 116 yards on the ground, but Bloomfield had the backups in fairly early as they beat the Pendragons last week, 54-16. Now on first down, Eisenhower going to back out, throw it, has a man, caught. That'll be first down yardage. Hartington Newcastle adjusted for it, but too late to make a play, and Sauser has the 10-yard gain.
It was really good timing to talk about his ability to throw the football. Sauser, that's a good catch, backpedaling. You know you're going to get hit. We mentioned it's cold, and some of those catches are harder to make, but he does a good job to secure the football.
They're going to measure the first down marker is just to the opposite side of midfield, and the ball kind of straddling the 40-yard line. So we'll see if it is indeed enough. Looked like he had it. That was a nice adjustment by Kobe Heitman defensively, as that is a first down. Plays like that can break open in a big way. Heitman realized what was happening and was able to get back in time to make the tackle.
Yeah, when you're playing Bloomfield, we've already mentioned that Hartington Newcastle had all 8 guys in the box. You have to bring up a lot of guys in run support just to try to slow them down, and that's where Bloomfield can burn you. You just saw a nice play there for a first down through the air.
From midfield on first down, Eisenhower straight ahead, has a hole to the right. Tripped up across the 35 into Hartington Newcastle territory. Shea Dickus on the tackle, but not before a 7-yard gain.
Again, that's what Bloomfield wants to do, dominate at the line of scrimmage, get real positive gains on first down.
Look on the kind of right side of your screen there, Dickus, who made the tackle, limping a bit. Eisenhower, by the way, already 90 yards rushing on 10 carries, so right at his average. 2nd and 3. The handoff, the whole left side opens up a first down run for Brugman. Out across the 30 to the 28-yard line, 5-yard gain, and the Bees move the sticks again.
Dickus again with that tackle. As we watch the replay, it looked there for a moment. Brugman might bust out of there. Boy, if he gets by Dickus, that might have been a really big gain.
1st and 10 at the 20. It's the 27 and a half. Call it the 27-yard line. As Brugman gets the first down on his 3rd carry for 5 yards tonight. They'll hand off again. This time it's Sauser. Stacked up by 4 Wildcats right at the 25-yard line. 2nd down, about 8 upcoming as Bloomfield, their workmanlike offense, continues to melt the clock.
Well, we talked about Hartington Newcastle wanting to try to do that themselves, try to keep the football, win the time of possession. But that's Bloomfield's forte, is to run the football on you and pound you, tire you out, keep the football, and just kind of demoralize you by the end of the game.
2nd down and 8 from the 25. Eisenhower tries to find a cutback lane. Nothing there. Sealed off by the Wildcats. Great play by Sudbeck. Carson Sudbeck, the team's leading tackler at 83 coming into tonight. Maybe a yard. It'll be 3rd and 7.
3rd and 7.
Well, this is the play where Hartington Newcastle needs to do well and needs to make hay here, because at 3rd down and fairly long for Bloomfield, you got to believe Bloomfield's probably thinking 2 plays here if they're not able to get the first down. But this is where you've got to keep Bloomfield from getting a positive play.
On 3rd down from the 24, Eisenhower. Good vision to cut back. He will be close. This depends on the spot. Looks like he might have it across the 20. They give him the 17-yard line. Oh, we might get another measurement here, I think. Yeah, they're going to call the timeout for another measurement. He got right to the 17.
I do have a score here. Humphrey St. Francis 60, Lawrence Nelson 14.
Oh, Humphrey St. Francis, just announced here, has moved on. They were trailing Lawrence Nelson in the first quarter 14-6. They won 60-14. So that's 54 unanswered to answer the game, to end the game, as Bloomfield just shy. It'll be 4th at about 2 chain links here.
You got to believe Bloomfield, they're definitely going to go for it
For
here.
sure.
Good field position here to do this, and the way they run the football, I think they do that just about anywhere they are out on the field, and 3rd and inches.
So 4th down and a toenail from the 17. I formation behind Eisenhower. He barrels straight ahead for the first down, drags a tackler out to the 15, maybe the 14. And that 4-yard gain will move the sticks for the Bees, as they're just to the right of the 15-yard line.
That was 3rd and 7. And Bloomfield got about 6.5. And that just sets them up to do what they want to do. So 3rd down and long, Hartington Newcastle has to find a way to turn Bloomfield back and put them in those long yardage, more uncomfortable situations.
From the 14, Eisenhower back into the gun. Backs out, wants to throw. Now able to make Wildcats miss. A flag comes in, our first penalty of the game. Eisenhower, a couple of times, Hartington Newcastle thought they had him hemmed in. Jake Pite's a great opportunity for a sack. We'll see what the flag is. It is a face mask against Hartington Newcastle, so the run went for no gain, but the Bees will get a gain out of it. Just a 5-yard incidental face mask called as Eisenhower cut back.
It's a situation there you don't want to, you can't make mistakes there. You really held Bloomfield to nothing on that play, that penalty. Again, that's like a 5-yard gain on first down, which is what Bloomfield does so often.
So it moves him inside the 10 to the 9-yard line, where Bloomfield has it now second down, or rather first down again. Hand off to the left, stacked up in the backfield. Nothing there for Cody Brugman. He loses a couple, back to the 7.
Number 23, Sudbeck.
Well, how about Shea Dickus out there playing defense? Seems like he's been on every tackle on this drive. Makes a nice play, good hit, wraps up there, and gets some help from some friends that come in to finish that play off. But the play initially made by Shea Dickus with a nice hit and a good wrap-up.
It'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 12. Just the second time tonight Bloomfield has been stopped for a loss. Eisenhower wanted to bounce outside, cuts back. How about the vision of Eisenhower to see that lane open up? 12 yards to pay dirt, and Bloomfield's up 3 scores.
Well, Eisenhower's having a heck of a game, and you're right. That was fantastic vision. Play is not there. He's trying to go toward the left side and then sees that lane open up, cuts it back to his right, and clear across the field to his right all the way to the end zone. Excellent play, and Bloomfield with a very impressive drive to take control of this game.
And an impressive first half that continues here. They'll try to go for 2. They've gone 50-50, missed the first 2-point, made the second. The pitch, Brugman dropped it, and this 2-point conversion no good. And on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, 20-0, Bloomfield with the lead on NCN.
1,300 high school touchdown balloons. 150,000 bags of popcorn filled. 525,000 napkins donated. At Midwest Bank, we feel it is the little things that we do for the communities that we serve that make the big difference. When it comes to banking, we can make a big difference for you too. Check us out online at MidwestBank.com. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
High school sports presented in part tonight thanks to Nebraska Community Foundation. No dream is too big. For a greater Nebraska, turn up your dream switch. Visit nebraskahometown.org. Bloomfield has made 32 consecutive playoff appearances. The only team that has more than that is their potential opponent next week, Fall City Sacred Heart, who has qualified 33 consecutive years.
That's a lot of years.
Sure is.
Bloomfield won the state championship in '92 in C2, Class C2.
They have not advanced past the quarterfinal round since 2001. One of their first years in 8-man back then. Trying to do that this year. And one of the reasons they have not been able to is Fall City Sacred Heart, the team that they would be facing in the quarterfinals for the 3rd time in the last 4 years if they can hold on to this win tonight.
Yeah, they've only two of the last 3 years, 16 and 17. Fall City Sacred Heart knocked Bloomfield out of the playoff.
Around the edge and out of bounds is Kobe Heitman. Last year they were knocked out by the eventual state champs, Johnson Brock.
2nd and 5.
2nd down.
From the 40.
Call it about 5.5. They're right at midfield. About a 4-yard gain there.
2016 Fall City Sacred Heart was the state champion as well. So Bloomfield has run into some state champs on their way in the playoffs.
And if memory serves, that 2016 was the game that they only lost by 2 on a late drive by Drew Bippis, 14-12.
I think it was 15-14 actually.
You're right. That's correct. That game played here at this field. Morton able to worm his way out of trouble. Now trying to get the edge, able to get a gain out of it. Nice freelance by Shea Morton there. The senior gets across midfield and sets up a manageable 3rd down and about 5.
Bunch of feet here by Brugman. Does a good job, does not get deked out. That's a scary place to be, going one-on-one against Shea Morton. You're not going to win that very often, but that time Brugman did an excellent job not allowing Morton to break free and pick up the 1st down.
Morton really only nets about a yard on that, 3rd and 5. They need to get to the 34-yard line. Morton alone in the backfield. They do have one tight end. No surprise, Heitman in motion again, as he has been on every play. Morton will keep up the middle. Great tackle. That's a beautiful tackle by Sauser that saves the 1st down. Morton had a ton of room in front of him, and Sauser tripped him up from behind.
Yeah, that looked like a sure 1st down. Sauser comes out of nowhere and makes that play. Great play. Now, I think there's no real decision here at this point. I don't think you have to go for it. You're down 21-0.
That's 4th and 3 from the 37. Harms and Heitman split to the right. To the left is Jake Pites. Morton on the rollout, fires, incomplete. Hartington Newcastle has yet to complete a pass tonight. They were trying to get it to Pites. Brugman on the coverage, and Bloomfield's defense makes the stop again.
Another big stop there for Bloomfield. Now you've got really good field position, plenty of time, 2 minutes and 33 seconds to do something with it.
That pass, the route was there. The pass just a little too far out in front. Pites couldn't catch up to it, and now Bloomfield from the 37-yard line with great field position once again. And like you said, Lou, a chance to go up 4 scores as we head to the break.
You absolutely take that if you're Coach Kuhar and this Bloomfield bunch. The Bees would like to end this half taking firm control of the football game and have all the momentum in the locker room.
Eisenhower with Sauser splitting in motion. He's an extra blocker. Eisenhower on the edge. Gets out across the 35 to the 34 of Hartington Newcastle. Folks, tonight's game presented in part by Best Basement Technologies and Hagee Glass, now at their new location in Bloomfield. That's 102 West Basil Street. Call Bruce, 402-373-3333 for information on their services. 2nd down and 2 after the 8-yard gain by Eisenhower, now over the century mark here in the first half. Eisenhower angling to his left, has the first down, rides the wave of blockers in front of him and driven back across the 30 to the 29-yard line. That's about a 5-yard gain, should be plenty, and is to move the sticks for Bloomfield once again.
Yeah, Bloomfield very methodical here. The last couple plays really dominating up front, pushing Hartington Newcastle's front line back. Now, minute 42 and counting, and we just get a timeout for Bloomfield. Just about to say they have 3, so they use their first one right here.
That they do on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard. It's Bloomfield up 20 and driving on NCN.
My name is Lane Handke. I'm a family physician. I practice at Faith Regional Physician Services in Pierce, Nebraska. I think a primary care relationship should be one of a spectrum of care. It should be acute care, but also should be health maintenance and preventive medicine and those kind of things. And so if you have a partnership with your primary care doctor, that would imply that you have a relationship built on trust and open communication and cooperation. I think it's best to have somebody who knows you, who knows your history, who knows your medications, your past history. All those things are very important in taking care of someone in the way that they should be treated. When you have that partnership with a primary care physician or provider at Faith Regional Physician Services, you not only have that person, but you have a whole spectrum of specialists standing behind the person to support them if you need them, ready access to care and referral.
Out of the timeout, Eisenhower down the far sideline. He's gone, breaks it. Touchdown, Bloomfield. That's a 29-yard run out of the timeout. Braden Eisenhower with 4 rushing touchdowns in the first half.
Well, what a half Eisenhower is having, but what a half that offensive line is having too. Eisenhower around that left side, just great blocking out in front of him. And, well, you don't have to be a great athlete like Braden Eisenhower to score on that one. He didn't have much opposition. The only Wildcat defender got blocked, and Eisenhower in untouched for the 4th touchdown of the first half.
Eisenhower going for 2 to the air, has it complete. 2-point conversion is good, and on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, we'll keep it here. It is all Bloomfield. That 2-point conversion caught by Dade Davis. 28-0. Bloomfield with the lead over Hartington Newcastle. We've got a doubleheader of football action on Friday. Lou, you and I have the nightcap. It'll be Pierce and Ord in Class C1 as the Blue Jays will try to get to the semifinals farther than they got last year. Ord upsetting the 5-seed Gothenburg Swedes last week. That'll be after this game. Millard South and Grand Island, the 3-6 matchup in Class A from Buell Stadium in Omaha. Doubleheader football Friday afternoon into the evening here on NCN as you see Braden Eisenhower, the man of the moment right now, a guy who probably feels like he could play for Millard South the way he's been going tonight.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns tonight. He had come into the ball game with 21 touchdowns on the ground, and he's just piling those touchdowns high in this ball game.
Hartington Newcastle trying to get down the near sideline. That's Zach Bertram, the sophomore. Knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. So Hartington Newcastle with 2 timeouts, 91 seconds, and in desperate need of points right now. They've moved the ball inch by inch, seem to be making a little bit more hay every time. They have yet to get a double-digit gain. Their longest play from scrimmage tonight, 9 yards, nothing through the air. They've got to find it here before the end of the half.
Well, how good has Shea Morton been throwing the football this year? He's got 25 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. I think you're going to have to really air it out here the rest of the ballgame.
From the 26, Morton trying to get to the air, try to escape, able to get the ball away, deep downfield into traffic and caught. Flag comes in at the end of the play. In Bloomfield territory, what a catch by Pites. That's a 24-yard gain. Shea Morton playing in traffic, and Pites bails him out. We'll see what the flag is.
Well, if we're going to have a pass interference here on the defense, that's what the call is. But Pites, he eliminates any concern about the penalty, just hauling in that pass. And watch at the end of this, I think he comes down pretty hard after making a fantastic catch.
Yeah, he landed on his tailbone earlier, too, and was kind of favoring that. He's been walking a bit gingerly ever since. Hartington Newcastle declines the penalty. Their longest play tonight has them 1st and 10 from the 30.
Falling on your tailbone on this ground is like falling on your tailbone in the parking lot. It's hard.
Wildcats with 3 receivers to the right. Morton in trouble. Comes back near side. What a catch in the open field. Ball came out, hauled back in at the end. That's a nice play by Carson Sudbeck. Across the 20 to the 16, a 14-yard gain for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Sudbeck able to get that one back. I think that's you see at the end there, the ball is stripped. It looks like he held on to it there, but really good play call that time. Bloomfield very aggressive and got pressure that time on Morton, but they throw a nice long screen pass, pick up a nice gain.
From the 16 now, this is the closest Hartington Newcastle's been to Bloomfield pay dirt. Inside of a minute. It's Heitman cutting back to the inside, stacked up at the 11. Hartington Newcastle will burn a timeout. They have 1 left after that gain of 5.
Good timeout here. I think you got to make sure you score here. For Hartington Newcastle to have any chance here, you have to get points on the board. You got time with 40 seconds, good field position. You still have 1 timeout to use.
Don't forget, coming up on Friday, we'll get you set for action with Prep Playbook. Chris Williams, he gets his own live promos during the games. That's like he needs any more ego stroking. You know what I mean? Fridays at 3 p.m. We'll get you set for action this Friday. I joke with Chris. He does a fantastic job anchoring both news and sports.
Certainly when you're a good-looking guy like that, they give you those things. When you look like me, they don't.
That's right. They shove us into a booth and let the cameras do the work there. This is the final quarterfinal matchup to be decided in the East bracket. The other quarterfinal matchup has been decided. We mentioned Humphrey St. Francis, the 60-14 victory over Lawrence Nelson. There will be a new champ in Class D2. How about the Plainview Pirates holding off Johnson Brock on the road, 36-28. They get the win, so they host Humphrey St. Francis in a quarterfinal matchup next week. Now 2nd down and 5 here for Hartington Newcastle out of the timeout from the 11. Morton with time. Late lob, just threw it away. Great coverage downfield. There was nobody open, and it'll be 3rd down. Morton just 2 of 7 through the air tonight.
That's a smart play, though, by Morton nothing there that you don't want to turn the football over. Nothing there, just get rid of it and live for third down here. You've got plenty of time again to score, but you don't want to force it and turn the football over.
Winner of this game will get Fall City Sacred Heart. They defeated Clarkson Lee earlier tonight, 56-6. Another game you saw here on NCN. Big third down here, 34 seconds to go in the half. Morton will keep up the middle, dives forward. Oh, they might have to measure. Got to the 6. Well, they'll say that is enough. First down, Hartington Newcastle has it first and goal with 29 seconds and 1 timeout.
It's only the second third down conversion in the first half from Hartington Newcastle. I like this drive. Really opened up the offense. Really felt like they needed to do that.
Wildcats clock ticking inside of 20. Morton to the end zone, too low, incomplete. Wanted Heitman. Clock stops, 13 seconds, second and goal.
Well, again, 13 seconds to go for Hartington Newcastle, and you still have 1 timeout to use, so you can still pull whatever you want out of the playbook. You can run the football if you want to with that timeout.
Well, you don't want to assign too much importance to a couple of plays, but you really feel like the ball game hinges on these final 13 seconds of the half. If Hartington Newcastle has any chance, you feel like they got to get in the end zone here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Morton, pressured. Throws back over the middle, all alone in the end zone was Sam Harms. They had more receivers than defensive backs in the end zone. Great job by Morton to extend the play and get Hartington Newcastle on the board.
A really excellent play by Morton, not only to keep the play alive, but keep his head looking downfield. And saw him, Harms run wide open into the end zone and got him the football.
That's Harms' 8th reception for a touchdown this season. Harms also a key piece of the Hartington Newcastle basketball team, state qualifiers a year ago. Now, Hartington Newcastle, they have Aiden Gratzfield. They're one of the few D2 teams you'll see kick extra points. And Hartington Newcastle going to burn a timeout. We'll keep it here.
If this game were to come down to a field goal, that's a weapon at this level, is to have a guy that can make kicks. But I think that touchdown there for Hartington Newcastle was gigantic, because it not only does it give them that glimmer of hope yet that they can come back and win, but if you get into the second half, if Bloomfield were to score, make it 35-0, then you got a running clock. Then it's next to important. So that was a big drive and a big touchdown there for the Wildcats.
Hartington Newcastle last year under Coach Corey Aldrich moved past the second round for the first time ever, moved past the first round, I should say, for the first time ever as a consolidated program. They've never made it past the second round. Hartington High never made it past the second round on their own. And Newcastle, as an 8-man program, only did once. They made the Class D2 quarterfinals in 1990. So Hartington Newcastle trying to reach some rarefied air here tonight, but they've got a mountain to climb on the road here in Knox County. It looks like Hartington Newcastle used that timeout to change their mind.
Yeah.
They're going to go for 2 here. That's a stiff wind. He would have been kicking. It was at his back, but still a lot of wind to deal with. And, not looking for the ball. Doinks off the helmet of Carson Sudbeck, and the 2-point conversion no good. So we'll keep it here. Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard shows a 28-6 lead. Bloomfield with the lead. That scoreboard, like I mentioned, presented by Faith Regional Health Services and Faith Regional Sports Medicine, certified athletic trainers, physical therapists, and highly trained providers working together to repair and care for sports medicine injuries in Norfolk.
Eric, that pressure from Souser up the middle forced Morton to get the football away very quickly. Sudbeck just not ready for it. That blew up that play. That was the pressure. That's what Bloomfield not able to do on that drive, but did so on that 2-point conversion. Get to Morton, make him get rid of the football.
We said coming into tonight, Lou, that Shea Morton needed just 60 yards rushing to join the 1,000 club, one of just 3 players to do that this year if he's able to do it. It seemed like kind of a foregone conclusion that he would. He's been held to just 16 yards rushing here in the first half. Bloomfield has done a nice job limiting Hartington Newcastle's offense. The Wildcats feign the onside kick. Matthew Messenheimer to kick it away. Bounces into the breadbasket of Brugman. He's out across the 25 and backs his way to the 30 to end the first half. Ends on a high for Hartington Newcastle, but it's been all Bloomfield to this point as we head to the break. It's the second-seeded unbeaten Bees 28 and the seventh-seeded Hartington Newcastle Wildcats 6. Halftime show coming up on NCN.
I'm Dr. Angela McLaughlin, and I work for Faith Regional Physician Services Family Medicine Clinics in Laurel, Wayne, and Wisner. As a primary care provider, it's my job to help you be healthy. And whether that be making sure that we take a look at diet, see if there's areas that we can work on as far as exercise. I know it's hard. I'm very, very busy myself, and it's really hard to get those things fit into your life. But it's really important so that down the road, it doesn't become an issue. I grew up in a small town, so I love talking to folks from smaller towns because your interests and the things that you care about are much different than in the big city. I trained in the big city, but I want to hear about, what are your grandparents doing? What are your grandkids doing? Things like that, that I think are very important to your health and help me establish a good goal for your health.
We love our schools and our community, and you do make a difference when you shop local.
You can make a difference by shopping local. Keep your community strong.
We know you can't buy everything in your hometown, but many things you can. Support the businesses that support your schools and community.
Supporting those businesses that are always giving back, shopping local is the right thing to do.
Bloomfield customers invite you to shop Bloomfield and make a difference.
I want to make a difference because independent businesses help give our town its distinct personality. They care and they're really involved in our community.
Hey, how are you today? Good, Christy. How are you? Good. Support your community and the businesses that are always giving back. What stays local, grows local.
The more interesting and unique your community is, the more we will attract new neighbors, visitors, and guests. This benefits everyone.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Our locally owned businesses employ our friends and neighbors who are passionate about what they do. Shop hometown.
Our local dollars generate more tax revenue to our community, which helps keep our school open and keep our taxes lower.
Bloomfield Strong. This message made possible by the City of Bloomfield.
The morning doesn't always start when you want it to. It starts when it has to. And day or night, we're up when you are. Through the good times, through the tough times, for the necessary and the unexpected. Even when you don't need us at all, we're just a light switch away. And when it's finally time to call it a night, we keep the lights on, ready to do it all over again. Nebraska Public Power District, powering your everyday, every day.
Thanksgiving is a time to appreciate family and friends. A time to share our gratitude for a bountiful harvest, a prosperous year, and good health to those we hold dear. A day of great football, grandma's turkey, and pumpkin pie. We'd like to share our appreciation for you. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
At Norfolk Auto Center, they work hard to give their customers the best value around. Plus, they offer a 5-day money-back guarantee on every new vehicle and a 30-day exchange period on any pre-owned vehicle over $5,000, so you can buy with confidence. Call or stop in today. They're conveniently located at 1123 South 20th Street in Norfolk, or shop them online at norfolkchevy.com. Norfolk Auto Center, Northeast Nebraska's volume leader.
Halftime on a blustery night at Bloomfield Bees Field at the Knox County Fairgrounds. The wind chill's gone up to 9. I thought it felt warmer. It was 6 earlier, but I could tell it definitely didn't feel that cold. We're up to 9 degrees now. That's a 16-mile-an-hour wind that's blowing out of the north here. Halftime presented by Midwest Bank, always ready to lend a hand in the communities that they serve. Log on to MidwestBank.com to find out more. 28-6. Bloomfield with the lead at the break. Statistically, actually fairly even. Bloomfield outgaining Hartington Newcastle 181-114. A lot of Hartington Newcastle's yards came in the latter stages of that second quarter, particularly on that final drive, that key drive scoring just before the half, Lou. That's what's going to give, I believe, Hartington Newcastle a chance. Now, Bloomfield's going to start the second half with the ball. Hartington Newcastle did the job at the end of the first half. Now they need to do the job at the beginning of the second half and get a defensive stop.
Yeah, you have to be able to do that. You've really got momentum after that drive. I really like Coach Oldrich's decision to open up the offense and put the ball in Shea Morton's hands, let him make plays, especially through the air. He's been such a talented passer all season, and this team obviously can move the football through the air. And I think, that's one way certainly to keep Bloomfield defense honest and maybe off balance a little bit. But that drive was clutch because, as you just mentioned, Bloomfield gets the ball to start the third quarter. If you don't score there, then Bloomfield gets it, scores a touchdown, then you're pretty well out of the game because now you have a running clock situation. So you avoided that. But now if you're Hartington Newcastle, you have to find a way to make a defensive play and get the football back and try to, inch your way back in this thing.
Bloomfield and Hartington Newcastle were played. This is the second time they've played. Here's early on in this game, Hartington Newcastle. That was the negative 1-yard punt. Set up Bloomfield with great field position, and Eisenhower did the rest. That was a 20-yard run. That made it 6-0 at that point. Here you see the 2-point conversion we thought was a 2-point conversion, but instead dropped by Kuhar. So it stayed 6-0. Bloomfield kept it going here. More great running by Braden Eisenhower. He has been so solid tonight. Good defense as well. Here you see Eisenhower with the stick on Sudbeck. There have been a lot of plays for Hartington Newcastle tonight, Lou, that I feel you see Eisenhower partially block a punt. He's been all over tonight. There have been a lot of plays for Hartington Newcastle that I feel like against other teams, maybe last week against Meade, are 15, 20, 30-yard gains that Bloomfield's defenders have held to 5-6 yards, and that's been a big key tonight.
Yeah, I think that's been one of the real impressive things that I've seen from Bloomfield is just how well they tackle and certainly tackle in space, and they always have guys in position to make plays. So it's been very difficult for Hartington Newcastle. As a broken record here, you see Eisenhower score another touchdown. But I think the way they've played defense against a really good offensive team in Hartington Newcastle, that should serve them well if they're fortunate enough to win here today moving forward.
You've seen a lot of Eisenhower. He has gained all but 10 of Bloomfield's yards. There you see the great catch by Pites that set up the touchdown drive. There you see this just before the end of the half. The great pass to Harms wide open in the end zone. That got Hartington Newcastle to 6. We saw Eisenhower carry the ball 18 times for 161 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half. He also has 10 yards passing, so there's the 171 that he has accounted for. 181 total yards of offense for Bloomfield, 7 yards of rushing for Tyson Sauser, and 3 yards rushing for Cody Brugman. Hartington Newcastle, you mentioned they opened things up a little bit, Lou, but really haven't had a ton of success through the air. 3 of 9 is Shea Morton for 44 yards and a touchdown. Now, 2 of those 3 completions did come on that final drive when he was 2 for 4. Looked much more comfortable in the pocket and rolling out of the pocket making plays through the air. Morton, again, needs just 60 yards to get to 1,000 yards rushing, would be just the third player in 8-man football, the only one in Class D2 that would be at 1,000 yards rushing and passing. He's been held to 16 yards in the first half on 9 carries. Leading rusher for the Wildcats has been Kobe Heitman, 9 carries, 38 yards, also 16 yards on the ground on 3 carries for Carson Sudbeck. The 3 receptions for Hartington Newcastle split up among 3 different players. They've completed passes to Jake Pites, to Carson Sudbeck, and to Sam Harms, who caught the touchdown. The winner of this gets either Falls City Sacred Heart or Clarkson Lee. Actually, we do know it's Falls City Sacred Heart. They beat Clarkson Lee earlier today, 56-6, to move on to the quarterfinals. Once again, head coach Doug Goltz has another championship caliber team on his hands. They'll be traveling to Northeast Nebraska next week. They know that. It's just a matter of destination, either Bloomfield or Hartington Newcastle. The other East quarterfinal has been set. Humphrey St. Francis defeated Lawrence Nelson earlier this afternoon, 60-14. That after falling behind early, 14-6. They scored 54 unanswered to end that game. The Flyers, man, are they good. They next travel to Plainview. The Pirates defeat the defending champs and the brilliant high school football career of Ty Hahn, who had over 200 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns tonight, but not enough as Plainview gets the 36-28 win over Johnson Brock. So Plainview will be hosting Humphrey St. Francis. The big news in Class D2 tonight, the top seed out west has fallen. Garden County upset in a big way at home by the 8 seed Overton, 36-12. So Overton hands Garden County their first loss of the season. Garden County's season is done, and Overton moves on. They will travel to the 5 seed Central Valley, another upset as they beat the 4 seed Elwood tonight, 50-24. So it's a 5-8 quarterfinal matchup out west. Have not seen an update in the Mullen Twin Loop game, the game that no one thought would be happening. That's an 11-14 game. Mullen, the 14 seed, upsetting unbeaten Sandhills Thetford last week. They're playing that game in Sargent tonight, still waiting for a first update there. They're at the half in the 2-7 matchup. Kennesaw, it's a low-scoring one, a 6-0 lead over Pleasanton. So that kind of gets you up to date with the brackets here. And Lou, we cannot understate enough that here in Bloomfield, really, I think the scope of this ball game, we talked about the importance of the end of that drive. The first 6 minutes of this third quarter, I think, are going to decide this ball game. If Hartington Newcastle can get a stop, it doesn't even have to be a 3 and out, just a chance to get the ball back down 22 as opposed to, either 28 or 30. That's going to make a big difference in their ability to come back and win this game.
I totally agree with you, Eric. I think this first drive will tell the tale of who's going to win the football game. I think if Bloomfield gets this football, marches down, and scores another touchdown, it's going to be very difficult for the Wildcats to come back. However, if the Wildcats get that stop, keep Bloomfield off the scoreboard, and then when they get the football back, continue to move that ball the way they've been moving it, they certainly have a chance to come back and win. But you're going to have to, I think, for Hartington Newcastle to come back and win. We talked about it before. The last time these two teams played, it was a 10-point game, and it was largely because Hartington Newcastle was able to turn Bloomfield over. I think they're going to have to do that if they're going to win here tonight and in the second half. They're going to have to find ways to get turnovers, get the football back, get extra possessions, and again, move the ball like they did there at the end of that second quarter.
Hartington Newcastle has forced 10 turnovers over the last 2 weeks. There have been no turnovers in this game thus far. 1 turnover either way would really, I think, change the momentum of this game. It'd be a big swing, no doubt. Halftime here presented by Carhartt Lumber, family owned. They've been giving you the power to build since 1921, and they're proud of their local teams. 28-6, Bloomfield with the lead at the break. Second half next on NCN.
The Bloomfield Medical Clinic and Bloomfield Pharmacy are here to serve you and your medical needs. We have been serving Knox County and the surrounding areas for 73 years. Call or stop by to schedule an appointment at our Bloomfield or Osmond Clinic. We are a proud supporter of high school athletics and academics and wish the Bees the best of luck.
People ask me what I want to be when I grow up. I don't know. All I know is where I want to be. A place where people believe in me and listen to my ideas. Where people care. Where everyone belongs. Where no dream is too big. My teacher says everything we need is right where we are. She says all you have to do is turn up your dream switch. There's a reason we call this place Greater Nebraska. Greater Nebraska.
What started as a $1 donation from Midwest Bank employees to wear jeans on Fridays has turned into $64,000 donated back to over 30 different organizations in the communities that Midwest Bank serves. Whoever said jeans are always a good idea was right. Midwest Bank, doing the little things in the community that make a big difference.
Oh, Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank.
Oh, they're here.
What are they doing?
I bought a tree for you.
It's gorgeous.
Where do you want it?
I know the perfect spot.
Trees add so many things to your yard, from fond memories, shade, beauty, and value to your property. The pros at Midwest Tree in Hartington have several varieties to choose from, and fall is a great time to plant. Contact Midwest Tree in Hartington and make a beautiful visual memory today.
At Farmers Pride, we offer multiple grain marketing options for you to maximize your profit. Our producer delivery grain program offers the best possible prices at local and regional processors, direct from your farm. Farmers Pride provides simple to understand strategies to help manage your current and future risk. So before you load up the truck, give us a call and let's discuss the best options for your hard-earned crop. Locally owned in Northeast Nebraska, your dollars stay in your local economy. Farmers Pride, in the field, on your farm, in your community.
The picture's really clear, it's really close up, and it's kind of professional, like you're watching ESPN.
After a big game, lots of kids show up in my office and they're always talking about, wow, did you see that hit by so-and-so, or did you see that shot?
They really appreciate being able to see it, whether they've got family that's out of town, they're able to watch it from afar, or even if the weather's not great.
And they're always so positive about our kids. They're positive about the officials and about the fans.
We love our schools and our community, and you do make a difference when you shop local.
You can make a difference by shopping local. Keep your community strong.
We know you can't buy everything in your hometown, but many things you can. Support the businesses that support your schools and community.
Supporting those businesses that are always giving back, shopping local is the right thing to do.
Getting set for the start of the third quarter here on a blustery cold night in Bloomfield. The third quarter presented by Region 4 Behavioral Health System. Alongside Lou Siefker, Will Ryan in the truck, I'm Eric McKay. The winner of this gets Fall City Sacred Heart somewhere in Northeast Nebraska next week, either on this field once again or at the great facility in Hartington. Whoever it is, you'll see the game right here on NCN next Tuesday. Likely an early afternoon game of some type.
Back to receive for the Bees be number 32, Cody Bergman, and number 24.
We've already seen the top seed in the West fall tonight. Overton with the big win tonight over Garden County. Out in Oshkosh, and now tonight, Hartington Newcastle trying to do the improbable. A huge come-from-behind win, if they can do so, and upset the 2 seed. Wildcats trying to go onside, rolls a little too far. Sauser has it. And now Bloomfield will have great field position starting right at midfield to start the second half.
a bit of a gamble there, but again, I think you're down 22 points. You're on the road, season on the line. I think you pull out all the tricks you can come up with. And they were hoping to catch Bloomfield napping a little bit, maybe hit one of the players, get a bounce, and get an onside kick. Didn't work, so gives Bloomfield pretty good field position here to start this first drive.
Hartington Newcastle throwing caution to these ever-increasing north winds. From the 39-yard line, here's Braden Eisenhower. Oh, low snap. Eisenhower in trouble, able to retain possession, but Bloomfield a huge loss on first down. It'll be 2nd and 17.
Well, it's the one time that Bloomfield punted, it was because they had a negative play on that possession, ended up with a 3rd down and 16. So a negative play, and that was a bit of a self-inflicted wound there for Bloomfield. Now this is where the Wildcats have to take advantage of the down and distance situation.
Replays this quarter presented by Security State Bank. My kind of bank, with locations in Laurel, Osmond, Hartington, Allen, and Coleridge. Check out mysecbank.com. Member FDIC. Eisenhower gets almost back to the original line of scrimmage, out across the 35 to the 36. So here it is, Lou, only the 2nd, 3rd and long for Bloomfield tonight. They'll be facing a 3rd and 13 from the 36-yard line.
Now Bloomfield only had 3 third down opportunities in that first half. They were 1 for 3. The 2 they didn't get were both 3rd and long, but they were able to. The 3rd and 7 situation turned into a 4th and 1, which they picked up.
On 3rd down, Eisenhower to the air. Over the top, has a man, but incomplete. Well covered. Shea Morton with a coverage over the top on Ian Kuhar, and Hartington Newcastle's defense does the job, Lou. Let's see if Bloomfield elects to punt it away. Likely they will on this 4th and long.
I think with a 22-point lead, you don't want to give Hartington Newcastle a short field. And you give the Wildcats tons of credit there for stopping Bloomfield, but Bloomfield also hurt themselves on that first down play, that negative yardage play, put them behind schedule.
Heitman back deep to receive the Eisenhower punt. Eisenhower truly does it all for Bloomfield. Puts a good leg into this one. Heitman from the 9-yard line. Good coverage downfield. Heitman able to split the defender across the 15. But a great punt there, 35 yards. Heitman returns it out to the 17-yard line, so an 8-yard return, and Bloomfield able to pin the Wildcats deep.
Well, it helps to have the wind at your back, but that was an excellent kick. And for Bloomfield, that's what you want to do. You don't get the points you wanted on your first offensive possession, but you don't allow Hartington Newcastle good field position here to start their first drive.
1st and 10 from the 17, Shea Morton. Again held to 16 yards on the ground, just 3 of 9 passing. He'll go back on the ground here, solid gain out across the 20. Out to about the 22-yard line. Hartington Newcastle trying to just chip away, kind of like what we saw in the first-round game last week that we did, Lou, when Neely Oakdale fell behind by 27 in the first quarter. Now, they had a lot more time to do it than Hartington Newcastle does, but the Wildcats trying to do something similar here.
Yeah, they also weren't facing Bloomfield's offense.
Right. 2nd down and 5 from the 22. This time it's Sudbeck in motion. Morton to the outside, shy of first down yardage. Yet another 3rd down faced by Hartington Newcastle here as Morton can get to the 34. It'll be 3rd and 3.
And for Hartington Newcastle, you see a lot of pre-snap movement, and they've really been effective offensively when they've been able to spread Bloomfield out. They've ran those sweep plays, and certainly when they've been able to throw the football, they've been effective.
3rd and a short 3 from the 24. They fake the end around, go to the air. Over the top, the wind slowed it up. Flag going to come in. The wind will get an assist on this pass interference call. The ball ended up being underthrown as they tried to get it to Harms. They'll get Dade Davis on the pass interference.
I was educated earlier this year that there is no face guarding in high school football, but there was contact on that play. There was contact, and you're right, Eric. The football was held up in that wind. Davis playing defense does not turn to look for the football, runs into the receiver. You can see it right here. There's the penalty. Very easy call for the official.
While there is no face guarding, you do still have to make a play on the ball.
Exactly.
Davis did not do that. And now the ball to midfield on the 15-yard penalty. 1st and 10. Hartington Newcastle trying to cut into this Bloomfield lead. Morton with the bounce. Bloomfield giving chase. About a 5-yard gain there. And again, a solid gain on 1st down. Keeps the Wildcat playbook open.
Yeah, I like what Hartington Newcastle is doing offensively. And we've talked about it since that last drive of the first half. But even before that, I think Hartington Newcastle very effective when they're able to, again, spread Bloomfield out defensively. They send a lot of guys in motion, a lot of sideline to sideline action that develops those pass plays.
Well, at 3rd and about 7, Bloomfield in on the end around, going to be a loss. Eisenhower finishes off the play. Sauser was in the backfield at Sudbeck. In the first half, it had been Heitman on all the motion. That time, Sudbeck loses 2. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Yeah, Hartington Newcastle really needed a positive yardage play on that one. Instead, you lose yards. Instead of 3rd and makeable, you're looking at 3rd down and 9. And you got to believe, again, with the another play there by Eisenhower. I think there's at least three number 19s out there, it seems.
Certainly feels like it. 3rd and 9 from the 38. Sudbeck in motion again. To the air, over the middle, has a man caught, and he's gone. Touchdown, Hartington Newcastle. A picture-perfect pass to Jake Pites, his 12th receiving touchdown this season.
A one-on-one coverage. Pites beats his man, and what a pass by Morton. Right on the money. Good catch by Pites. Hauls that one in. What a big play, and we've got a ball game, Eric.
Hartington Newcastle back within 2 scores. They can make it 14 with a 2-point conversion here. Fantastic throw by Morton into the wind. Now Morton to the end zone. It is knocked away, incomplete. And on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, 7:27 to go in the 3rd. It's a 16-point game now on NCN.
The morning doesn't always start when you want it to. It starts when it has to. And day or night, we're up when you are. Through the good times, through the tough times. For the necessary and the unexpected. Even when you don't need us at all, we're just a light switch away. And when it's finally time to call it a night, we keep the lights on, ready to do it all over again. Nebraska Public Power District. Powering your everyday, every day.
Tonight's broadcast brought to you in part by Nebraska Loves Public Schools. To see what happens every day in our public schools, watch their films at ilovesps.org. 12 unanswered for Hartington Newcastle. They're back within 16 here, 3rd quarter. Alongside Lou Siefker, I'm Eric McKay. Well, you see the ability of Shea Morton through the air, got a little bit of time. Great throw into the wind, and Jake Pites did the rest.
Yeah, Shea Morton with 1,259 yards passing and 25 touchdowns. That's fantastic. Now he gets his 26 here on this last play.
Oh, boy, Hartington Newcastle, some miscommunication there. Now they're going to move backwards.
Yeah,
About half of the kick team thought they were kicking the onside, half didn't. And so it will be Hartington Newcastle moving back 5 yards on the procedure penalty.
A miscommunication there cost 5 yards. I got to give a lot of credit here to Hartington Newcastle. You're down 28-0 on the road. It looked bad, but they put together that drive to end that quarter. They get a stop on defense and another touchdown, and this ball game is a long way from over. They're doing a nice job here to battle back. And again, it's harsh conditions out there. You're down 28-0. It'd be easy to pack it in, and these guys feel like they want to play next week.
This time everybody stays home. We'll get a real kickoff here. Matthew Mesenheimer, the 230-pound senior, to do the honors. Into the wind, over the head. of Brugman, who in a little trouble as he picks up the ball, able to get about a 10-yard return out of it. And it'll be Bloomfield 1st and 10 from the 20. Now, if you're Coach Matt Kuhar, well, you'd really like to see your offense, who's done such a great job, really like to see your offense get another score here, but not great field position, 60 yards from the end zone.
Well, Bloomfield, as we've talked about, they are such a good rushing football team, and their offense really predicated on ball control and physical football play. One thing they can't do, and they did it the last drive, was to get themselves behind the eight ball with a negative yardage play.
On 1st and 10 from the 21, Eisenhower. A little bit of a hole to the right. He stood up at the 25-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. They give him the 26. Call it 2nd and 5.
The 2 times that Bloomfield has punted in this ball game, they faced a 3rd and 16 and a 3rd and 13. If they stay out of the negative yardage plays, I think if you're Coach Kuhar, you feel like you're going to be fine.
2nd down and 5 from the 26. That was Braden Eisenhower's 21st carry tonight. Eisenhower sweeping near side, has blockers, has the first down, driven out of bounds into his sideline. And there you see the offense back to doing what they do best, moving the ball on the ground. Eisenhower to the 34-yard line. And that is a solid gain and a first down.
Yeah, back to Bloomfield football. And that's certainly tonight, and I think the last time these two teams played, the game plan has been to keep Eisenhower's hands on that football at all times. Had that big game last time with 336 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. Got 4 touchdowns on tonight's ball game.
And 171 yards on the ground on 22 carries. 1st and 10 from the 34 now. Bloomfield trying to advance to the quarterfinals for the 3rd time in 4 years. Stretch play outside, huge hole. That's a first down into Hartington Newcastle territory. Cody Brugman, longest run of the night for the sophomore, gets to the 33, but there's a flag down.
Well, there you go.
And here's Bloomfield moving backwards, Lou, and this is not an offense necessarily designed for 15, 20-yard down and distance situations.
Exactly what we've been talking about here. The negative, this time it's not a negative yardage play, it's a penalty that ends up in negative yards. So absolutely right, Eric. It seems like Bloomfield has been their own worst enemy here in this game, and that's a big penalty.
Which was the case last time. I mean, Bloomfield had 477 yards against Hartington Newcastle last time, but was trailing heading to the 4th quarter because of the 4 turnovers. Now it's 1st and 20. Eisenhower corkscrews his way across the 25 to the 27-yard line. So it'll still be 2nd and long as they need the Hartington Newcastle 36 for a first down.
You feel like these situations are more in the favor of Hartington Newcastle when they have the football, just their ability to throw the football around. Bloomfield, much more a ground and pound offense. Now, they can hurt you with the pass, but it's usually set up when they're doing well running the football.
2nd down 17 after the gain of 3. From the 27, Eisenhower. Not much. It'll be 3rd and long again. Great play there by Messenheimer defensively. Maybe a yard. It'll be 3rd down, 16, maybe 15. Give him 2 yards to the 29-yard line.
Again, a bit of a broken record. The last 2 times Bloomfield punted, they had 2 third, and it was 3rd and 16 in the first half, and then 3rd and 13 a moment ago. Now 3rd and 15. Not in the wheelhouse of the Bees.
3rd and 15. Eisenhower out of the gun. It's a screen set up pretty well.
Really well.
Blockers out in front. First down and more. Salzer to the near sideline. Perfect call by Coach Matt Kuhar. Bloomfield inside the 20, down to the 16-yard line. Huge gain there as Bloomfield moves the sticks.
Perfect call on that situation. Hartington Newcastle I believe they might have sent 4 on that play. Certainly 3 guys were in that backfield, but they deked them, did Bloomfield, allowed the pressure to come, and then the screenplay was set up so perfectly. Nobody back behind there. And Brueggemann gets a nice gain.
Goes for 35 yards, 1st and 10 now from the 16. Eisenhower wrapped up in the backfield. That's Messenheimer again.
By number 19, Messenheimer.
No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Excuse me.
Boy, what a big execution there on 3rd down and 15 for Bloomfield. If you don't pick that 1st down up, you give the ball back to Hartington Newcastle. They've got all the momentum. Now that was a backbreaker for the Wildcats. That's Bloomfield up in a really good position for another score.
2nd down and call it 10 from the 16-yard line. Eisenhower up the middle, has a hole, finds a seam, finds the end zone. 5th rushing touchdown tonight for Braden Eisenhower from 16 yards out, and Bloomfield extends their lead.
Just right up the middle that time for Bloomfield, and Eisenhower does what he does so well, and that's just find the end zone. Did a great job following the hole. You got Sauser that time as the lead blocker in front of him, does a nice job to take his man out of the play, and that created a nice gap for Eisenhower to score that touchdown.
Now Bloomfield will go for 2, try to make this a 24-point game. Handoff, Sauser makes his cut into the end zone. Correction, Brueggemann. 2-point conversion good, and on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard with 4:09 to go in the 3rd, it's a 24-point game on NCN.
Whether you're building a new home or remodeling the one you live in, Carhartt Lumber is the area's premier one-stop shop for quality building and remodeling materials. See the large selection of paint and primer and Milwaukee power tools. Spruce up your outdoor living area with composite decking, stone windows, and siding. Carhartt Lumber is your place to go for buyer-built interior and exterior doors. With 10 locations across Nebraska, Carhartt Lumber is here for all of your building and remodeling needs. Carhartt Lumber has been giving you the power to build since 1921.
Factory C for the Wildcats.
High school football on NCN tonight, presented in part by Freedom Hall. They fought for our country. They gave their life. Take a moment to remember them Monday on Veterans Day. This message from Freedom Hall of Bloomfield. Much needed touchdown for Bloomfield, perhaps a backbreaker after a 35-yard screen pass on 3rd and 15. Set them up inside the 20. 2 plays later, Braden Eisenhower, his 5th rushing touchdown tonight, has Bloomfield up 24. Now Hartington Newcastle can afford no empty possessions as Kobe Heitman is absolutely plastered across the 25, and now he's slow to get up. Bell rung there, huge hit by Logan Dorr, the freshman, making the play on special teams. Heitman stays in the game. It'll be 1st and 10, Hartington Newcastle from the 27-yard line.
Obviously for the Wildcats, you've moved the football since that last drive at the end of the 2nd quarter. But possessions now, there's not that many left. You're going to have to maximize. I think this is 4-down territory, maybe the rest of the ballgame.
They fake to Heitman. Morton will tuck. Nope, he does throw it late. Harms, almost a tip drill pick. Harms couldn't haul it in. It'll be 2nd and 10. That's a break for Bloomfield. You had 3 receivers in the area, only 2 guys covering it, but the Wildcats come up empty.
Unfortunately for the Wildcats, had a chance on that play. And Brueggemann that time defensively, he went over to make the play, and the area he vacated, hopefully we'll see it here on this replay, is where the ball ended up. He had a chance, but I mean, he did the right thing doing what he did. Just unfortunate bounce of the ball for Bloomfield.
So 2nd and 10 from the 26-yard line. Waning moments, 3rd quarter. Sudbeck in motion. They fake to him. Morton gets the edge, but not much more. Bloomfield has done a nice job keeping those plays in front of them tonight. Out to the 30, maybe 31-yard line. It'll be 3rd down.
3rd and 6.
Call it 6.
Wildcats have been good on third down here as of late. They've got their last 3 third down conversions after being, I believe, 1 for 6 before that.
Third down, about 5.5 here from the 31-yard line. Harms and Heitman split to the right. Pites to the left. That's Heitman in motion. Morton, the keeper, up the middle, gives him a first down. Tripped up as he gets to midfield. But Shea Morton able to get to the 39-yard line, 8-yard gain, and a first down for the Wildcats.
Well, another third down conversion, and Shea Morton adding to those rushing totals, trying to get to that 1,000-yard mark. Does a good job getting that first down, stumbles forward for a couple extra yards.
He's 26 yards shy of 1,000. Again, if you're just joining us, needed 60 coming into tonight to get to 1,000 yards rushing and passing for the season. He'd be the only player in Class D2 to have done that this year. 2 have done it in Class D1. Morton, pass on the quick out, caught, and Harms drags a defender to the 35-yard line into Bloomfield territory. It'll be second down and 4. Brugman made the stop.
Brugman got there and able to hang on.
From the Bees 35.
It could have turned into a real big play for Hartington Newcastle, as it is a nice gain there on first down.
Second down, call it 4. They need the 31-yard line. Sudbeck and Heitman both split out wide. Double tight set. Quick throw over the middle. It was set up, but Heitman couldn't haul it in. Eisenhower on the coverage. Morton had to throw that just a half second earlier than he wanted to. Otherwise, that might have been 6.
That was Gabe Lauk that time getting in there, the pressure. The leading tackler for Bloomfield we have not said his name a whole lot here tonight.
No, they've done a nice job on him.
Yeah. He is a tackling machine out there. Had 12 solo tackles last week in the win over Bender. That time, that pressure, I think, disrupted that play enough. Now, it certainly could have been completed, but I think it just threw the timing off enough that Hartington Newcastle was not successful.
Third down and 4 from the 35. Low snap. Blew up the timing of the play a bit. Heitman still able to fight his way close to first down yardage. Probably going to get another measurement here. Heitman needed the 31. Well, he is right there. And we'll bring the chains out again. Chain gang's been busy tonight.
We had more measurements tonight than we've had all season.
Really have. And again, the chain gang probably appreciating the opportunity again to keep the blood flowing, keep moving.
It was 3rd and 7 a moment ago. I saw this chain gang asking to come out.
We'll just measure every down just to make sure. Yeah, we'll take a closer look at this one. He did not get it. Couple of chain link, 2-3 chain link short, so 4th down and short upcoming for Hartington Newcastle, and no doubter what they're going to do here.
Yeah, no question. They're going to go for it here. Now, do you just try to pound it, try to get that first down, or you try to catch Bloomfield coming up and run support, maybe try to get a quick touchdown? I think you got to get the first down here, otherwise you're really climbing uphill, or you're already down 24.
And the clock ticking. 4th down and about a quarter length of the football. It is Morton out of the gun with 3 receivers wide. Motion man is Sudbeck. Morton to the left. Oh, boy, that effort at the end got it for him. Otherwise, he wasn't going to get there. Lauk was there in the backfield, but Morton does just enough at the very end of this play.
Just a little 1-2 there at the end of that run there by Morton. Got the first down, and a big one.
So 1st and 10, now at the Bloomfield 30. The Wildcats driving. Fell behind 28-0 in this game. They've been trying to claw their way back into it since. Morton to the air, over the middle, too far in front of the receiver. Wanted Pites, pretty good coverage over the top. They had Brugman there. It'll be 2nd and 10. And Morton again has struggled a bit through the air tonight, just 5 of 14, although he did have the touchdown pass earlier this quarter.
I think this offense, though, despite those numbers, this offense has changed and been more effective since that passing threat has been there.
Yeah, that's 5 of 14 after missing his first 5 passes. So
Right.
he's been 5 of 9, really, since they've opened up the playbook. 2nd and 10. They stay on the ground here. Sudbeck trying to break tackles, can't do it. Line of scrimmage is all he's going to get. It'll be 3rd and 10. Tyson Sauser in on the stop. Daniel Brugman there as well.
I think this is a spot where Hartington Newcastle's got to think about a couple of plays. You certainly want to get a positive gain here on 3rd down. But I think you have to think about what you're going to do on 4th down if you don't pick it up here.
They go with a misdirection, end around. Heitman has some room. It'll be 4th down, though. There you see that brilliant ball pursuit again. Braden Eisenhower, who else? Setting up a 4th down and 5 here.
The Wildcats got around Lauk there on that end around. But look at the closing speed by Eisenhower. My goodness.
That's a great look at it. Great camera work there on our Security Bank instant replay. So 4th down and 5, big play here. It's Hartington Newcastle trying to keep their season alive, trying to move past the 2nd round for the first time ever. They fake the end around, go to the air, incomplete. Great job by Harms to try to come back to the ball, but Dade Davis knocks it away, and Bloomfield gets the stop.
Yeah, Dade Davis just gets the strip. Looked like that was going to be a completion. And he was open.
That's a great play by Davis.
Yeah, Davis just gets his hand in there to knock that one away.
So now Bloomfield up 24 in the driver's seat. Just under 13 minutes left to go in this one. The Bees trying to get back to the quarterfinals. They lost in the 2nd round last year. Were quarterfinalists in 16 and 17. Handoff. Cut back to the middle. Brugman, maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd down, but Bloomfield honestly not even really looking for big gains here, just trying to keep it to the middle, keep the clock moving there in the driver's seat now.
Yeah, the clock is your friend now. Certainly you want to try to put a drive together and end this thing, but you can certainly take your time, run plays a little more casual pace with that 24-point lead.
Ball at the 26-yard line. Bloomfield will face a 2nd and 9, maybe one more play. Looks like they will snap it before the end of the 3rd quarter here. Eisenhower going to the air, looking for a knockout blow, but overshot his intended receiver, trying to get it to Ian Kuhar. But that brings us to the end of the 3rd quarter on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard as we take a look at the quarter-ending play there. It's Bloomfield 36, Hartington Newcastle 12 on NCN.
My name is Gary West. I'm a physician's assistant. I work for Faith Regional Physician Services at Wayne Family Medicine. My care philosophy is I try to be very patient-focused, and I like to do interviews with the patients, find out what problems they're having, and try to address those problems. Having grown up on a farm, it's helped me to relate to my patients. I've come to realize the challenges that my patients face who are in the agricultural businesses and farming and livestock. I've always had a sense of pride that perhaps I've been an element in maintaining people's health and having them involved in a good, healthy community and family. I can't imagine that I wouldn't want to do this again given the same choice of a career.
Seven. 12 minutes of regulation football left here in Bloomfield as the fans say, "Go Bees." We remind you that our 4th quarter sponsor is D&L Towing and Recovery. Big thanks to D&L for presenting this 4th quarter. That starts with a 3rd down and 9 for Bloomfield. Eisenhower up the middle, bounces off initial contact. 4th down upcoming, so that pass play on 2nd down, Lou, set up Bloomfield with another 3rd and long, likely giving the ball back to Hartington Newcastle here. The Wildcats still going here.
Well, they're not dead yet, and Coach Kuhar upset about something down there.
Eisenhower to punt it away, this time punting into the breeze that's been blowing between 15 and 20 miles an hour tonight. Eisenhower going to keep it. He's got it beat on the first down marker and got it. Wow, Braden Eisenhower with a 7-yard gain on 4th down to move the sticks.
What a play. I wonder if that was a just an audible there by Eisenhower, because it looked like he was going to run to the short side of the field. There was nothing there. Looked like maybe a disastrous play. Instead, he turns and heads to the far side of the field and picks up an incredible first down. That was the play of the game.
So 1st and 10 Bloomfield from the 37-yard line. Hartington Newcastle thought they were going to get the ball back with a chance to try to get back in it, and Eisenhower maybe freelancing there a bit, able to get the first down. Eisenhower has all 5 of Bloomfield's touchdowns today on the ground. This time handing off, and there's some room for Brugman into Hartington Newcastle territory. He gets out across the 35 to the 31-yard line. 1st and 10 Bloomfield after that gain of 12.
Ball will be placed on the Wildcats' 31-yard line.
Now Bloomfield got a chance here. Now you get that first down. Now you got a chance to really take some time off that clock. And a score here would certainly put this game away for the Bees.
Winner gets Fall City Sacred Heart at home next week. Be a home game for either team. Winner of this one. Sauser smacks into the defense, still on his feet. Forward progress stopped at the 27. Maybe the 26. Give him 5. It'll be 2nd down.
No, still adjusting. And number 23, sit back.
Well, we're certainly still 10:50 to go, so plenty of time. But I think as we're inching closer to a potential Bloomfield and Fall City Sacred Heart matchup, we've seen a few of those here.
We have. We were here for both of those quarterfinal games. One, again, that came down to the wire, a late drive by who was then sophomore quarterback Drew Bippis that gave Fall City Sacred Heart a big win. And then the next year, Fall City Sacred Heart came up here and won in a blowout. Here Eisenhower, able to get the first downs, spins his way across the 20, down to the 17-yard line. So a 9-yard gain for Eisenhower, and he inches ever closer to 200 yards on the night.
Yeah, what a night he's had. You go back to that 15-14 game. Drew Bippis was the quarterback, obviously, for Fall City Sacred Heart, or as I call him, Drew Montana. As he just engineered what turned out to be an absolute heartbreaking drive for Bloomfield. Bloomfield kind of controlled that game until that last drive, had chances to win that one.
Late decision to hand the ball off there. Sauser pinballing his way to the 15. In of a couple. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Of course, that Bloomfield team had the great Quentin Moles at running back, one of the best running backs you and I have ever seen. Quentin Moles over 2,500 yards that year. And
even for Bloomfield's standards, even a big offensive line for them. They were huge back then.
The great McGuire Macaprang, 275-pounder. He could open up a hole or two. 2nd down and 8. From the 15, bouncing to the outside, Brugman. Inside the 15, down to the 10, another 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and short as Bloomfield tries to wind their way to their 10th win. You know, Coach Matt Kuhar, nobody, you really don't hear him talked about a lot. He's in his 7th year. How about 56 wins and 16 losses? Has not lost in the regular season in 3 years.
Yeah, last regular season loss was August 2016 against Wynot. That's been a while ago.
We were here for that game, actually. And that was a late win. Wynot, a late touchdown pass in that game. Landon Weisler? Does that sound right? Weisler was the last name. I do not remember the first name. Sorry. Now it's Eisenhower, who's been the star tonight for Bloomfield. 1st and goal as he gets inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line. 8-yard gain for Eisenhower, and Bloomfield trying to put together the dagger touchdown.
Yeah, they're in the process of salting this one away. I think you're kind of be as somewhat vanilla here. You don't want to make a mistake, turn the football over. For Bloomfield, if you put it in here and you score this touchdown again, it would be next to a miracle for Hartington Newcastle to come back and win this thing.
Just saw Coach Kuhar there. 16 career losses, 7 of them have come in the postseason. Just 9 regular season losses in 7 years. That's incredible. And Bloomfield gets into the end zone. It's the first non-Eisenhower touchdown. Tyson Sauser in from 2 yards out, his 7th rushing touchdown this year, and Bloomfield up 30.
That was a Bloomfield drive to end the game. Power football.
Goes back to that 4th down conversion when Hartington Newcastle thought they had them stopped.
Yeah, that was a big play. That I guess you'd call it a fake punt, or was it just an audible by?
Yeah, we might get a chance to ask after the game.
I think we will.
I have a feeling that we know who our player of the game tonight's going to be. We'll be talking to them and the winning head coach, if it is indeed Matt Kuhar, following this one. Stretch play to the outside. Hartington Newcastle keeps him out of the end zone. And on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, 8:55 to go in this one. Bloomfield up 30 on NCN.
Elkhorn Valley Bank introduces online account opening. Work long hours and can't make it into the bank? Or don't live near an Elkhorn Valley Bank branch? No problem. You can open your Elkhorn Valley Bank account from your computer or smartphone at your convenience 24/7 in a matter of minutes without ever stepping foot into the bank. Real convenience. Online accounts at Elkhorn Valley Bank. There is a difference.
And there's a difference here for you.
High school football on News Channel Nebraska, presented in part by Blooms and Bling, downtown Bloomfield, their Christmas open house is this Saturday, November 9th from 9 to 3. My mouth is frozen. I cannot formulate words properly. Wind chill down to 4 right now. As we sit 8:55 to go in this one. Nothing's been able to cool off Bloomfield's offense, though. 6 rushing touchdowns tonight, the last by Tyson Sauser. And Bloomfield has this one well in hand. It appears they will be hosting Fall City Sacred Heart next Tuesday afternoon. The updates have been few and far between on the other 2 late games. Really haven't seen much. There have been a few Class D1 games. Got an upset alert in Class D2. BDS, the 2 seed in the East, trailing Cross County right now, 20-6. That game in the 4th quarter. So, in fact, it has just ended. Cross County has won the game.
Wow.
Huge upset in Class D1. Hartington Newcastle will be starting this drive from the 30. Another final in Class D1, Howells Dodge eliminates Lutheran High Northeast. The Jaguars win 56-22. You get Howells Dodge against Osceola High Plains next week. That's going to be a good one in the quarterfinals. Fantastic game there. Have not seen that at half. Kennesaw was leading Pleasanton 6-0. That's the 2-7 game out west here in Class D2. Have not seen an update since the half and have seen no updates on the Mullen Twin Loop game. Hartington Newcastle starting at the 30. Here's Heitman making the first guy miss and then paying for it. An absolute concrete shot applied by Daniel Brugman, the 214-pound senior.
Yeah, Brugman is a good player. Level a shot there. Sometimes those spin moves are good. Sometimes they set you up to get clobbered, and that was the latter on that play.
Sorry, I said 214. I meant 240.
Yeah, don't
Brugman. That's a big difference. 2nd down and 10 after the initial play. This time they faked to Heitman. Morton, nothing. Going to lose yards. There's Brugman again. We were mentioning during the break that Morton just 25 yards shy of 1,000. Now he's 29 yards shy of 1,000. And a Hartington Newcastle player slow to get up. It'll be 3rd down, about 14 after that loss.
Yeah, now we're a young man down on the ground.
Was one of the receivers split wide, did not see the number. Coach Corey Aldrich out there talking with his quarterback Shea Morton as the training staff out to check on the downed player for Hartington Newcastle. We'll take a break, come back. You're watching high school football on NCN.
I love the variety. Any given day I could be bolting on a bracket, or I could be making an electrical harness, I could be bending steel, I could be I could be troubleshooting a hydraulic system. I could be any number of things, and I love that I'm rarely doing the same thing 2 days in a row.
And I just used that year to really research and figure out what I could do with a company that was willing to either reimburse me for tuition or have a school like the IBW NECA apprenticeship provides.
Skills pay the bills, and students can get that career going debt-free.
Kobe Heitman was the injured Hartington Newcastle player. They helped him off the field. Now it's 3rd and 14 for the Wildcats from the 26-yard line. Little confusion as to what the play call was here. Morton trying to set up a screen. Bloomfield there for it. Guess who?
Well,
Who else makes sure tackles in the open field but Braden Eisenhower? Only a 1-yard gain.
Wait, I told you not to tell me. I wanted to guess.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Here's a hint. His name rhymes with Jaden Fleisenhauer.
Wow, I don't know if I can come up with that one.
He has been in seemingly on every defensive play tonight. He had 15 tackles last week against Pender. And now Hartington Newcastle going to burn a timeout. We'll take one as well. 7:08 to go in the game. 30-point game on NCN.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
High school football on NCN presented in part thanks to tonight's United Healthcare business partner of the game, Marathon Press of Norfolk. It has gone final in Class D2. The 11 seed is on to the quarterfinals. Twin Loop defeats Mullen tonight, 36-14. They will await the winner of Kennesaw and Pleasanton. Here, it appears, unless we get a miracle finish, that Bloomfield will be hosting Fall City Sacred Heart for the 3rd time in 4 years in a quarterfinal game. There you see Coach Corey Aldrich, his 4th season here at Hartington Newcastle. 4th down and 14. Wildcats have no choice but to go for it. Morton. He was past the line of scrimmage when he threw it. No flag. Now the flag comes in. It's a moot point as the pass was incomplete. He was about 2 yards downfield when he threw the ball.
Yeah, trying to make a play, looking upfield, but went over that line of scrimmage. So penalty will be declined. Bloomfield will take over possession. Up 30 with 7 minutes to go. It's looking good for the Bees to advance.
And Eisenhower will not be out there. His night is done. A well-earned respite. Looks like Logan Dorr, the freshman, number 21, will be in at quarterback as Bloomfield takes over 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. They go in kind of a wildcat formation here. This is the old-school Bloomfield formation that we saw from them a lot in the early years when Matt Kuhar took over this program, when Quentin Moles was here and they really didn't have a quarterback. That was kind of what they ran, was just wildcat all game.
Yep.
That's a 5-yard gain there for Sauser.
A lot of wildcat out of that bunch. Now we talked about Coach Kuhar and how successful he's been, 38-4. creeping up on 39-4 now here with a likely win in this ball game. Those 4 losses, 2 of them, guess who? Fall City Sacred Heart.
Fall City Sacred Heart. They'll have a chance, it appears, to avenge that next week. Hand off left side. Bouncing off defenders out to the 20-yard line. Gain of a couple there for Cody Brugman, the sophomore. That's kind of the scary thing about this team. Now, Eisenhower will be graduating, but there are a lot of key pieces of this team that are coming back. Brugman and Sauser will both be back next year, so this will be a loaded backfield for Bloomfield next year. And you look, Gabe Lauk, he'll be back next year as well. So some key pieces of this team for Bloomfield. This, every year it seems like, they graduate all these guys. Yeah. We'll see if it'll be a rebuilding year for the Bees, and they have not. They've just reloaded every single year. This is a great program that Coach Kuhar has built. To the left side, that's a first down. Down to the 15-yard line, that's Sauser. Moves the sticks for Bloomfield.
Yeah, you can count on Bloomfield getting into the playoffs. You count on them winning pretty much all of their regular season games, 31 in a row and counting right now for the Bees.
The seniors on this team have won 4 district titles. They won all the district titles that they possibly could.
A lot of winning has gone on around these parts.
But can they get farther than they have?
Yeah.
The quarterfinals have been sort of where that wall's been erected for them. They've not been able to get any further. 1st and 10 from the 14 of Hartington Newcastle. Out across the 14, down to about the 12-yard line, couple there. Stop made by Hartington Newcastle's Aiden Grotzfeld, the 160-pound sophomore. Only about a yard gain, 2nd and 9 upcoming. Bloomfield's taking a lot of time in between their plays, obviously just trying to melt this clock down and get to 10-0. Handoff left side, a lot of room to the end zone, touchdown. Cody Brugman. His first rushing touchdown tonight, 8th on the year in Bloomfield, with the exclamation point.
Now Brugman at that left side, nobody over there. Just outraces the defense to the end zone and puts this one on ice. Bloomfield will advance now to play Fall City Sacred Heart.
Put this game on ice. I see what you did there. It's really been on ice this whole game.
Like my feet.
Going for 2, it is good. And on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, this is now a running clock game for the remaining 3:57. Bloomfield up 38 on NCN.
The Bloomfield Medical Clinic and Bloomfield Pharmacy are here to serve you and your medical needs. We have been serving Knox County and the surrounding areas for 73 years. Call or stop by to schedule an appointment at our Bloomfield or Osmond Clinic. We are a proud supporter of high school athletics and academics and wish the Bees the best of luck.
This has been a Bloomfield Bees type of night. They have thrown the ball just 4 times tonight. They have not needed to do anything but that. 50-12, 7 touchdowns tonight, 5 of them by their senior sensational quarterback Braden Eisenhower. Now 26 rushing touchdowns on the year as the Bees will see their season continue on to the quarterfinal round.
26 touchdowns in 10 games. That's a pretty good average.
For a quarterback.
Yeah, for a quarterback.
On
exactly.
the ground, who's now well over 15, might be at 1,600 yards rushing on the year. This is Zach Burcham, one of the seniors on this Hartington Newcastle squad. Wildcats season will end at 6-4, but these are athletes you're going to hear from again. I mentioned this was a team that qualified for state last year in basketball, and I think have the pieces to do so again. This game brought to you in part by Best Basement Technologies and Heggie Glass, now at their new location in Bloomfield, 102 West Bazille Street. Call Bruce 402-373-3333 for information on their services. Easy for me to say. 1st and 10. Sudbeck to the right, not much. Eisenhower with the tackle. Correction, that's not 19, that's 18. Dalton Gieselman, the sophomore, who has not seen much time tonight, although he has seen plenty this year. That is 42nd tackle of the year. It'll be 2nd and 11.
I think a pretty good season for Hartington Newcastle. Finished 6-4.
Yeah, this has historically not been a football program associated with a lot of success. Corey Aldrich has built a winner. He'll be 22-16 in 4 years after tonight. Took over for the great Blair Colleen a few years ago.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the pregame interview I did with Coach Aldrich, but I'm pretty sure he was standing on his tiptoes because I looked awfully short.
Corey Aldrich, he and his father both have the ability to make whoever is interviewing them feel very, very small. Not in their demeanor, but just in their literal height. 3rd down and 10 upcoming after that 2-yard gain by Shea Morton, who will not, it appears, get the 60 yards he needed to get to 1,000 tonight unless he can break off a big one here in the final 2:22.
Yeah, going to be tough, especially with the running clock.
He's 27 yards shy. Going to the air here. Has Pites caught first down into Bloomfield territory. Down to the 30-yard line, 20-yard gain there.
Pass complete to number 15.
Well, you see how Hartington Newcastle can be effective throwing the football. That was an excellent pass and catch. Pites secures it, but Morton's a good passing quarterback and has been a weapon all season here for the Wildcat.
And really for the last few, this wraps up a brilliant career. Shea Morton has been a key player for them for the last 3 years at quarterback. Been a very, very good football player for them. One of the best in this school district's history. He'll keep it on the ground here. Gets out across the 20. Down to about the 17-yard line. That's a 13-yard gain, so he's 14 yards shy of 1,000.
14 yards shy of 1,000, and you're placing the ball at, what about the 16,
17-yard line.
So
he's still got time to do it.
It's possible.
Clock ticking down to 1:08. Again, Morton trying to join the 1,000 club. He'll keep it himself. He's got room. Flag comes in. He's in the end zone. Oh, boy. Whoever this holding penalty is on owes Shea Morton lunch. It's a hold on the Wildcats. He would have been over 1,000 had that touchdown counted. Now he still has time to do it. And look, individual stats, that's not the obviously the reason you do this, but for someone like Shea Morton, I think a great accomplishment. He would be just one of 3 players in 8-man football.
We in the media, we're not supposed to cheer for anybody or any team, but doggone it, I want to see him get that.
Absolutely. You just don't see that very often. In 8-man, it's a lot of specialization.
Mm-hmm.
Now Morton going to the air. Wide open is Pites, and he's in the end zone for the touchdown. Jake Pites from 19 yards out. Hartington Newcastle finds the end zone.
Wildcats end the ball game here on a positive note. Another touchdown pass for Mr. Morton.
And the second tonight for Pites.
Yep.
Caught the 38-yarder last quarter.
And Pites came into the game with 11 touchdown catches, so those two have been very effective here this season.
Yeah, Pites an all-state caliber receiver in Class D2. Obviously, one of those slots pretty much automatically goes to Ty Hahn. Little trickery on the 2-point conversion. It'll work well. And Zach Burcham will march in for the 2-point conversion. So on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, we keep it here. 19 seconds to go in this one, 50-20. the score. And Lou, you and I move on to Ord on Friday for an interesting Class C1 matchup. Pierce and Ord played once this year. It's the closest Pierce has come to defeat, a 28-14 win. There you see it, 6:45 Friday evening. That has an asterisk next to it, though. There was one key player missing for Pierce that night. They did not have Dalton Freeman. And I think, as we have seen the last couple of weeks, what a difference maker he is on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about this on our way up. Chase County's plan last week against Pierce. Pierce's offense is essentially a hydra. They got three heads. You got Tinker, A-Strike, and Freeman. And they said, let's take away one of them. And Chase County basically wanted to eliminate Brett Tinker. It's a great game plan, and they executed it well. Tinker was held to 19 yards on offense. Pierce had their best offensive output of the season with over 630 yards, over 500 on the ground.
Very potent offense, so many weapons. And then for Ord played Pierce not only tough this year, but last year as well. Only lost by 16 last year. They gave Pierce the best games in the regular season the last 2 years. So Pierce, outstanding team, but not a gimme. Ord's a good football team.
That's going to be a fun one. 6:45 Friday evening touchback here for Bloomfield. And hey, how about this? Some big news, championship football coming to NCN. That's right, we'll be showing you the six-man state championship November 22nd, 6:45 p.m. from UNK. Great field out there. Lou, you and I have done quite a few games out there.
How many players play in that game?
You'll see 12 on the field. If you've never seen six-man football, tune in. It's an interesting game. Bloomfield kneels down on it. This one is over. The Bees improved to 10-0. They're a quarterfinalist in Class D2 for the third time in 4 years. And on the Faith Regional Health Services scoreboard, your final, Bloomfield 50, Hartington Newcastle 20. Post-game show coming up on NCN.
Need high-speed internet? Want the best in TV programming? There's no need to make countless calls to 1-800 numbers to get the services you want. Get both TV and internet with just one call to me, Wes, at Satellite Central. Everyone's needs are different, and we can help you find the best option for high-speed internet. And we've been providing TV programming from Dish and DirecTV for over 20 years. We have a local team of installers that you know and can trust. So make one call to us at Satellite Central.
The morning doesn't always start when you want it to. It starts when it has to. And day or night, we're up when you are. Through the good times, through the tough times, for the necessary and the unexpected. Even when you don't need us at all, we're just a light switch away. And when it's finally time to call it a night, we keep the lights on, ready to do it all over again. Nebraska Public Power District, powering your everyday, every day.
We've been with NCN for many years. We've very much appreciated the ability to get our content out visually to the community and surrounding communities. I think that there are people across the state that are really excited to see their children or their grandchildren on television. And it does position NCN in a way that allows the community to understand you really do care about the community. When we put it on television and you can see it with your eyeballs and see how cool it is, it's really made a difference to have the imagery being able to be broadcast across the state, because people will travel for something unique and different. You build a business on relationships. And NCN has been able to build relationships with people in other communities across the state, and we strive to build relationships with our customers and tell them we do care and show them we do care. And by providing that information on NCN and putting it out there, the way our store looks, the way I communicate with people, I think it personalizes us and makes it real. And NCN is real.
No longer is going to the optometrist just about getting glasses or contacts. The modern eye exam now involves the diagnosis and treatment of ocular disease. The visual demands created by the use of smartphones and handheld devices has also changed the modern eye exam dramatically. At Othniel Miller Pape Eye Care, they're committed to your health and eye care needs. With 6 optometrists, they have various levels of expertise to serve their patients and give them the best care possible. Why? Because your eyes deserve it.
50-20, Bloomfield with the victory. Our post-game show brought to you by Norfolk Auto Center, Northeast Nebraska's volume leader, where you'll find one low price, plain and simple always. A big reason for Bloomfield's victory tonight: had 5 rushing touchdowns, 220 yards on the ground, also 2 of 4 through the air for 45 yards. He is our Dream It Do It player of the game. Let your skills pay the bills. Check them out at dreamitdoit.com. I'm talking about Braden Eisenhower, the senior quarterback, standing by with Lou Siefker. In a little bit. We're waiting for him to get ready, waiting for him to thaw out as he is standing by with Coach Lou Siefker. We'll hear from him and Coach Matt Kuhar shortly. All right, now let's send it down to Lou Siefker. Lou?
All right, Eric, thanks a lot. Bloomfield gets a big win here tonight over Hartington Newcastle, joined now by Coach Kuhar and our player of the game, Braden Eisenhower. Coach, let's go ahead and start with you. I thought the ball game started the way Bloomfield wants to start it. You guys did a great job. You ran the football and did some power Bloomfield football. Talk about the play, I guess, of the offensive line and the way you guys blocked early in the ball game.
Yeah, we knew we had a pretty good offensive line, and we wanted to go and take it to them. And Braden does a great job reading. We had a couple of just runs called, and he read them well, and he made them pay.
Well, Hartington Newcastle, right there at the end of the half, put together a nice drive, got on the board, and then they started moving the ball there in the third quarter. But you guys found a way to turn them away when you had to. What were they doing offensively that gave you trouble, and how are you guys able to turn them away?
I think the biggest thing that they were doing, they were running that 8 on that fly sweep, and he's a pretty good player, and I thought we did a good job of stopping him. We changed up a little things that we were doing. The corner coming and attacking a little bit more.
It seems like you guys at times hurt yourselves on just negative yardage plays where you set yourself up and ended up in third and about 15 a couple of times. But you ran that screenplay. Talk about that screenplay and how that worked. That was really a big play in this ball game.
Yeah, I thought it was going to Cody Brugman, and I see Tyson Salzer come out of there, and they throw him the ball, and it was a great pass and catch, and it definitely loosened him up.
Well, you got an old familiar foe coming up next week in Fall City Sacred Heart. How excited are you guys to get another chance at the Irish?
I told the kids after the game, first time we played them, they kicked the snot out of us. Second time, it was a heartbreak, and third time's a charm.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time. We'll be seeing you next week. We'll be doing the ball game here against Fall City Sacred Heart. Congratulations on a big win, and we'll see you next week.
I appreciate the coverage. Thanks.
All right, that's Coach Kuhar. Let's go ahead and talk to our player of the game, Braden Eisenhower. Braden, it seems like I don't know how many of you are out there. There's at least a couple, 2, 3 number 19s, I think, because you were all over the field. You really affected the ball game on all levels, whether it was offense, defense, or special teams. You like being that guy that just kind of does a little, I think I saw you selling popcorn at halftime as well. You like being that guy?
Well, I do what I have to do. I don't like to lose, and I'm here to win, and I do what my team asks me to do, and make plays is what they ask me to do.
Okay. Seemed like to start the ball game, Coach really had the ball in your hands. You were the guy. You kind of like being that guy that the team is leaning on to make big plays?
Well, yeah, but if it wasn't for my offensive line in front of me, we could really give it to any one of the backs, and they can get 5 yards of carry when we have an offensive line giving them push like that.
We had 5 touchdowns on the night, and I believe you're over 200 yards rushing. But to me, the one play that I got to ask you about this play is a 4th down and long. You guys look like you're going to punt. You started to run the ball toward the short side of the field. You were hemmed in, and then you broke free on the other side. First of all, was that a planned play, or was that an audible on your part?
No, we actually had a planned fake punt or read it. If I had pressure, I was going to punt it away, but I started going to the right. I saw everyone flowing that way, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of green grass, or yellow now, but green grass, so I just took off, started going, and found the sticks and protected myself, got out of bounds.
We talked about how good you've been offensively in this ballgame. Defensively, you made some big plays. I was really impressed with some closing speed you had on some tackles, really shut some guys down in a hurry. Did you work on anything like that, just in your physical capabilities on the off season to be that sort of player?
Oh yeah, we're in the weight room every single day in the summer. You're in the weight room. If you want to play football for Bloomfield, make sure you're in the weight room in the summer, because that's where we get big and do our training. We dedicate a lot of our time in the summer.
Well, your ball club, the Bees, have been very, very good lately. The one team, it seemed like you haven't been able to get past in the recent years is Fall City Sacred Heart. How confident are you going into next week's ball game?
Well, I need to watch a little tape. I haven't seen what they do much yet this year, but I'm ready to play them. Played them twice previously, lost to them both times. I'm ready to play some football again.
I'm sure you are, Braden. You had a heck of a game tonight. Congratulations on a victory and being our player of the game.
Thank you.
All right, that's Braden Eisenhower, our player of the game. Eric, let's send it back to you.
Thank you, Lou. Braden Eisenhower's ready to play some football again, and he will be doing so on this field against Fall City Sacred Heart next week. Meanwhile, heartbreak for Hartington Newcastle as they end their season at 6-4. Let's take a look at our top plays from this game, presented by Elkhorn Valley Bank. Second round matchup, 2 versus 7. Bloomfield unbeaten, taking on Hartington Newcastle for the second time in 3 weeks. And Bloomfield making plays early. Braden Eisenhower had a monster game. That touchdown run there from 20 yards out makes it 6-0 Bloomfield. First quarter, more from Eisenhower. He was all over the field tonight, 220 yards rushing on 30 carries. This one finishing off the second drive for Bloomfield makes it 14-0, that touchdown run from 22 yards out. Second quarter now, more from Eisenhower. Great vision to reverse field, cut back, find the pylon, 12-yard scramble, 20-0 Bees at that point. Guess who? Eisenhower again in the second quarter, just driving his way. This offense leaned on him in a lot of different facets. He was able to finish off that drive with a touchdown. Now, Hartington Newcastle, late second quarter, able to get a drive going for the first time. Great play to Jake Pites there. Then later, Shea Morton would head to the end zone, find a wide open receiver in the end zone. That was Sam Harms, 28-6. Bloomfield with the lead at the break. This a 3rd and 15 as Hartington Newcastle trying to get back into it. Bloomfield converts the 35-yard gain. 2 plays later, it's Eisenhower again. His 5th rushing touchdown tonight. That one really put the game away. As we see here on a 4th down play, Bloomfield calls a fake punt. Eisenhower able to get the conversion, the first down. That drive would end with a touchdown by Tyson Sauser, then Cody Brugman wraps it up as well. Bloomfield gets the win 50-20, and they'll host Fall City Sacred Heart in the quarterfinals next week. Our top plays again presented by Elkhorn Valley Bank for all your banking needs with locations in Norfolk, Hoskins, Pierce, and Wayne. So Bloomfield now 10-0. As we mentioned, they get another unbeaten 10-0 team in Fall City Sacred Heart on this field next Tuesday. It's a game you'll see right here on News Channel Nebraska. We've got a lot more football coming up Friday. Doubleheader, Millard South versus Grand Island in Class A action, 3:45 Friday afternoon. Immediately followed by Pierce at Ord in Class C1. Prep Playbook gets you started at 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Our post-game show presented in part by Carhartt Lumber, family-owned, and has been giving you the power to build since 1921. They're proud of their local teams. Your final score, once again, 50-20, Bloomfield victorious. For my broadcast partner, Lou Siefker, Will Ryan in the truck, and the entire NCN Sports crew, I'm Eric McKay, and this has been the post-game show on NCN.